The whole idea of Mr. Modi and his RSS and his Janata Party wanted to do what the world is, oh, Pakistan is a rogue state, and then, okay, we can punish Pakistan. Punish you with what? Not a single drop of water. It's nonsense. India should be a benevolent, a magnanimous state, a greater state. India should be represented by a mind which is not, say, not a single water. This is antithesis of what Hindu Dharma stands for.
Everyone has come out and backed Pakistan in terms of, I think, this idea of everybody says we need to do more in terms of our intelligence to counter this.
India has no idea, but Trump has the idea. Central Command of the United States Army has an idea. That has changed completely Modi into a shell. It has put back Modi into a shell. His whole narrative has been killed. I think we have a new environment. That narrative that Pakistan is a failed, poor, beggar state is gone, dead, in my opinion. If the wealth becomes a source of stability, that's good. If the wealth becomes a source of instability, that's a disaster.
जावेद अख्तर साहब ने कहा था कि पाकिस्तान एक जहन्नम है.
I was really surprised when he said कि अगर मुझे ऑप्शन दिया गया कि मैं पाकिस्तान में जाऊं या जहन्नम में जाऊं तो I will opt for जहन्नम.
Where have you been in Lahore? Who have you eaten with? आप किधर बैठे हैं? किधर उठे हैं?
I am a normal Pakistani. There's no great favors. I wanted to see what my city is like, what my country is like. The only bad thing about Lahore is it's not a walkable city. Imagine how we have become hostage to few terrorists. Imagine that every time any terror incidents happen and we say there will be a nuclear war with India. How foolish will be that?
Arnab, Goswami and all as actually stand-up comedians. Assalamu alaikum. This is Shahbaz Taseer. This is the first time that I'm doing something like this. I've always been interviewed and I've done a lot of moderated sessions. But this is the first time that I think I'm sitting down with someone and interviewing them. And actually the pleasure is mine because I want to introduce you guys to a very close family friend of mine. He's like a fatherly figure in our lives. We have known him since we were little kids. He's seen us grow from babies into whatever we should be now. A very, very close friend of my father's, of my mamu's, and of my groups, my companies. He was the founder of many of these companies. I think when we started Pace and took it public, you were one of the first people there. Daily Times, Sunday Magazine, Daily Times, Aajkal, Business Plus, Wicked.
Shayad, all these Khanzadas and all. But all
yeah, and you know that's something.
We used to train them, by the way.
Aaj bhi, Uncle Iqbal.
Shahzeb, it was first few interviews. We used to train them. We used to have marathon sessions with Shahzeb Khanzada. Of course, and the other ones, most of them. I have
these are 15, the new shayad.
15 videos on this Business Plus.
Yeah.
15. And we used to have marathon sessions with us.
We've got actually recently we pulled out all the archives of Business Plus. तो उसके अंदर हमें आप लोगों के अब्बा के round table conferences जो आप लोग करते थे, we found all that.
Did you find the interviews with Rehan and Zakaria?
Yes. I think that they're digitalizing. The team is digitalized. So these are the new Shahzeb.
You must have seen a lot of old interviews, 15, 20 of them.
जी. So मैं आपको बता रहा था अंकल इकबाल फाउंडर भी हैं मेरे वालिद साहब के साथ उन्होंने इन कंपनीज को फाउंड भी किया था. He was founded them. He was one of the first investors, foreign investors with जिनको पाकिस्तान में इतना कॉन्फिडेंस था. और एक्चुअली मैं ये कर एक स्पेशल वजह से रहा हूँ. A lot of people have asked me कि जी आप के साथ इतना कुछ हुआ है, why do you continue to live in Pakistan? Everybody asked me this question. But for me, I think this is one of the reasons why I live in Pakistan. Someone like Uncle Iqbal, he came 4 दिन के लिए वो लाहौर आए थे जब ये हमारा इंडिया और पाकिस्तान का क्राइसिस शुरू हुआ था. Because जावेद अख्तर साहब ने कहा था कि पाकिस्तान एक जहन्नम है. और ये एक वो एग्जाम्पल होता है, एक ट्रेन है जो ब्रिक वॉल की तरफ जा रही है. ये एक फेल्ड स्टेट है, ये टेररिस्ट फंडर्स हैं, ये ख़त्म हो चुके हैं. सो अंकल इकबाल जो पेरिस में भी रहते हैं, ही डज़ बिजनेस इन पेरिस, ही डज़ बिजनेस इन लंदन, न्यूयॉर्क, ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड एक्चुअली. And his sons he's built his sons to today, alhamdulillah, set in positions of where they are
Themselves,
now. Yeah, they're doing amazing things. Both of them.
themselves have done nothing in that.
And फिर आप आए हैं इधर 4 दिन के लिए, and now it's been 1
Month.
महीना. तो ये इस जहन्नम में आप क्यों फंस गए?
It's a very strange thing. Basically, the Pakistani in me never died, I think. I tell you honestly, I'm a real Pakistani at heart. I was born in Sakkar on the river banks of Indus. So my love with Hindustan, Indus, as I told you that day, the name comes from Indus River. So very proud of that. And being a part of this country, I take great pride. I think who I am today is because of Pakistan. And one of the biggest reasons I come across and I see all these intellectuals bad-mouthing Pakistan, I feel very sorry for them because I am a successful person, a little bit that I am. Yes, but I feel this country has given me so much. The education they gave me when I was a kid, St. Mary's High School, then Amity Engineering College, the logic they gave me, the rationalism they gave me, the kind of freedom they gave me. Honestly, I don't see the way people see. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm a very open-minded person. ये नहीं है कि मैं कोई closed-minded हूँ, narrow-minded हूँ, myopic हूँ, मेरा introvert version है. मैं दुनिया को देखता हूँ, मैं दुनिया में अच्छाई और बुराई को बहुत अच्छी तरह देख सकता हूँ. मैं देख सकता हूँ कोई क्या अच्छी चीज़ है, क्या बुरी चीज़ है. तो जब ये आया मैं पाकिस्तान तो आई वाज सर्चिंग फॉर दैट. तो इंडियन जो सोशल मीडिया है एंड आई एम वेरी not aligned towards them. I don't care. But recently when I saw Javed Akhtar being treated 4-5 years ago, I know him since 1999. जब PM वाजपेयी साहब तशरीफ़ लाए थे तो हम लोग उस ज़माने में एक ही टेबल पर बैठे थे लाल किले ये फोर्ट में, लाहौर फोर्ट में, and I was with Javed Akhtar on the same table with Pervez Rashid and all, and since then first introduction and later on seen many times. And his wife recently was in House of Lords in London. The Lords of Pakistani Lords invited her in House of Lords. Shabana Azmi, great people, good. So I was really surprised when he said कि अगर मुझे option दिया गया कि मैं पाकिस्तान में जाऊँ या जहन्नम में जाऊँ तो I will opt for Jahannam. So then I said maybe I'm missing something. Because this Javed Akhtar is quite an equitable man. Much I had not a very good feeling about him in 1999 when I met him, when Vajpayee Sahib came sitting in our fort. He was making fun of Emperor Akbar, that where he would relieve himself in this fort. He said, today morning I went along the fort and I was thinking these Mughals had a very bad hygienic sense that where would they relieve? I don't see any toilets here. Listen, and I told him, I remember that very clearly. I said, listen, Versailles has no toilets. Give me a break. Now, don't distort history. Just don't do it. I've been to Vatican City inside the papal room. I've been inside the papal room. They had commodes. Basically, they were piss boys.
Yeah.
Look at the book.
No, I myself.
History of the world.
Uncle Iqbal, because ये तो हमारी जिंदगी में तो is because of people like you and Abba. But जब भी हम आपके पास आते थे, I remember आपने जब हमें वसाई भेजा था. It was something that fascinated me कि यार ये इतने अमीर लोग हैं, इनके पैलेसेस देखो, इनकी लाइफ देखो, look at the clothes and they talk where are the loot. I had the same question, but it was a different time.
Because the point is very simple. They were external, they were piss boys.
Yeah.
History of the world, Mel Brooks.
And I've been all over Europe.
And one of the major reason is that, one of the reasons that perfume industry grew up is because of the fact that no one would take a shower. There was no concept of water.
There was no concept. And now you're talking about एक और ज़माना.
So he was making fun. So I remember that. भाई इसने ये बात की थी और उसके बाद तो हम लोगों ने बोला भी कहा कि आप इतने ओपन माइंडेड आदमी हैं, छोटी छोटी बातों को क्यों लेते हैं. But I was thinking that he has some serious issues. But okay, good for him. I don't have any right. But anyway, this was very personal in the sense that if there's a hell, I have to select between the two. So I wanted to come and search for that hell because I'm an observer. I don't believe in what Pakistan says or what I believe in. Much as I'm born here, मैं ये तो नहीं मान सकता कि नहीं ये जो है ये normal बात है. तो मैंने कहा अगर देखूं तो क्या कितना पाकिस्तान में क्या
जहन्नम कैसी है,
कितनी जहन्नम है. Honestly speaking, मैं आया and I was taken up really with surprise in the sense कि जो जहन्नम वो बोल रहे हैं. अच्छा उसमें उन्होंने ये भी बोला कि उन्होंने बोला नहीं, the poverty like we see in Bombay and Delhi, not in our face, it's not there. तो उन्होंने ये बोला कि दीवारों के पीछे छुपाने लगता है. बोलता है yes, I could not see slums. They hide them behind the walls. That's the kind of thing. So I said, let me go find out. Maybe they have made beautiful cities and hide them behind the wall. Much as I know that's not the case. But I said, I will go. So I lived a life on the streets. अभी एक मिनट से
मैं तो आपको follow करता हूँ।
तो लेकिन मैं live on the streets पे ले रहा हूँ. I'm living like last night. You know
नहीं,
where was I?
Uncle Iqbal,
Last night where I was, I walked from Hussain Chowk to Firozpur Road right to the end, 4 kilometers on the streets.
But मैं यही चाह रहा था, I wanted you to जब a lot of people say कि when I live on the streets they think शायद गुलबर्ग और इधर. I actually want कि आप बताएं where have you been in Lahore? Who have you eaten with? आप किधर बैठे हैं, किधर उठे हैं?
Absolutely, mind-boggling. मैं गया तो कल रात को 12 बजे रात को I just said, let me act like a normal Pakistani. And I am a normal Pakistani. There's no great favors. I wanted to see what my city is like, what my country is like, how secure and insecure it is. And and I walked out of Hussain Chowk and took a right to Firozpur Road, and then there is a big. I could not cross the road because I'm on the right side of the road. I wanted to go on the left side, and then I crossed the thing and went to some big malls right at the end. 2 or 3 kilometers I walked and I saw, and because I do my 20,000 steps a day, I was not able to do it yesterday. The only bad thing about Lahore is it's not a walkable city. Yeah. Walking city nahi hai Paris ki tarah. Love to walk. But anyway, and I saw. तो मैंने उसके बाद उससे पहले जब पहले दिन से आया हूँ तो मैं बागबानपुरा, हरबंसपुरा, all these narrow alleys and Delhi Gate and अंदरूने शहर, Wall City, inside the Wall Party Gate and Ravi Road, Kila Lakshman Singh, Kila, all these places where no one goes.
काफी लोग जो ये देख रहे हैं खुद भी वो they've not visited these places.
But the point is I'm a blogger. So look, Iqbal, you made so many blogs in Lahore and so many posts of mine had gone viral. And I said, listen, city is made by its people. City is made by its music. City is made by... I found music here. I found poetry here. I found a lot of intellectuals here. And I find a lot of talks here. And the food is unbelievable. I went to the old Anarkali. Yes, they have done a terrible job by breaking the old buildings and put new buildings right in old Anarkali. And I wish someone should have saved that heritage. I wish it can be recreated. But at the end of the day, what has been saved is great. I went to the Haveli restaurant near the fort, but everyone goes there, so it's not a big deal. It's artificially embellished. But what is not embellished, like Delhi Gate and Usman Ki Baitak and Wazir Khan Masjid, and you name it, fort and Maharaja Ranjit Singh Ki Samadhi, so nicely kept, so beautifully kept. Then Guru Nanak की जो जाए मकाम है उधर ननकाना साहब.
And there's a beautiful reason why you went to those two particular sites.
Because of my own daughter-in-law. Because her baby is sick and I wanted to see. Last I went to Panja Sahib jail. So and then I went in forays into small towns, villages, see where the actual and I ate there also. Let's be honest. I did not eat and I have not been to the only good restaurant I've been to is with you. And honestly, the Japanese restaurant and otherwise I was eating in the...
You have to experience both.
No. I wanted to be a part of Lahore the way it is. I don't want to be a part of Lahore. The only good house I've been to your house. Honestly, or Pati's house maybe. No, I was saying no to everything. I was going to because at the end of the day, it gives me great amount of pleasure. I want to see how unnormal... See, it's very easy to sit here on a drawing room and say, "Oh, गरीब कैसे रहते हैं?" It's very easy, when my friends who are in the politics, they come and say, I wish they walked through the streets. They do. And all of them come from the very small background. Yeah. They have not come from, no one in Pakistan was born a billionaire. Yeah. Let's be honest, they were all working class. They came up. Now, some has one generation shifted, others have 2 generations shifted. But let's be honest, no one came from a Mughal family. So what I'm trying to say is, मैंने जो देखा, it's very, very beautiful. Yes, poverty is there, but poverty with dignity.
Yeah.
They're happy people. What is the point of having billions and unhappy man? And if you have little and you're happy and contented. One day, Amir of Kuwait had asked me, Ahmed Sabah, he was crown prince in those days, and we were traveling in a plane, and he just asked me, what is the reason people are not happy with all this oil wealth? I said, they are not contented. Contentment is one of the key features in life. If you're not contented with $15,000 a month salary, then you'll never be contented with 1.5 million or one, because zeros, the game hai na, ye khatam nahi hota. So you start with 1 million, then you say another 0, 10, and then another 0, 100, and then another 0. What is this Forbes list, Fortune list? You have it's all like a marathon race.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm 400 billion, he's 300 billion, and it never ends. They fight with each other. Why are he's above me? And these figures become immaterial because you're never happy.
Yeah.
You're never happy. And then you blow your top off. Like recently, Elon Musk blew his top off for
Trump
nothing.
as
For
well.
nothing. He should have been very careful what words he speaks. And I would have never spoken if I have so much to lose to speak about somebody that I've lived with. And all of a sudden, to blow his top off. That is a problem that shows how fickle the wealth is. So if the wealth becomes a source of stability, that's good. If the wealth becomes a source of instability, that's a disaster. That's what I see. So when I went to all these places and I was invited, last night I was invited by one of my employees. He said the best boss ever. He's working with me for 25 years. Very normal person. Big. And I was so proud. He brought his child. He said, when I came working with you, he was this child. He brought me a present. But the heart is bigger than many billionaires' heart. You get my point? Yeah. That's the beauty of it. What I found, yes, there's lentils, there's rice, there's one vegetable, there's... Koi badi baat hai nahi. What is the point of eating caviar and foie gras and crystal champagne when there is so much of beauty in a small glass of lassi? And that's what I liked it for one. Yes, I've taken few rounds of flagell. It's constant part of me.
It's not easy.
Not easy, but that's part of me. I love it. So what I find, I'm not trying to say poverty is a great thing. The kind of poverty is what I'm talking about is that if you have a fridge in your house, you have a telephone in your house, you have a mobile in you have a roof over your head, your children are going to school, what else life is? 4 billion people don't have this.
Yeah.
At the moment. So there is a level where you have to start thinking. So this is no Jahannam. Yes, I think the biggest problem I see is the young people, they don't have a direction. I talk to many young people, at least 400 of them on the streets, and I ask them and interview them, what's wrong? And they want to be trained. We need to have vocational training institutes, mushroom them. In my opinion, the biggest problem in the world we face, Shahbaz, is we have to give them skills. I think Japan will need 10 million workers in next 10 years. Ukraine will need, it's near to your home, 10 million workers in that whole area, Nordic Europe. There's a shortage.
All of these countries have declining populations.
Depopulation is a bigger threat. Population is not a threat. Yes, we have overpopulation, but we should train them. Vocational training institutes. And don't make them PhDs. Don't make them MBAs. Make them a good electrician. I saw some children. Immediately I take them. I said, listen, I'll make you a pastry chef. Come. Gaon ke log, I'll make you a pastry chef. I put them with my pastry chef. The point is small little things. I'm not here to my small businesses to take care of any big thing. I say my contribution will be change life of one person. I'm not talking about lives, and people are doing it, honestly. People are doing it here.
No, but Uncle Iqbal, जो आप skill training की बात कर रहे हैं, you're trying to do this with young people in Pakistan. And I remember जब मैं London आया हुआ था अपनी किताब के लिए, तो you took me out for dinner to Annabelle's, beautiful place, and you introduced me. Everybody there was a big shot, except one guy who said, ये लड़का मैंने ढूंढा था पाकिस्तान में, इसको मैंने रेहान के साथ लगाया. Now he's earning, पता नहीं, I don't want to say the number, but something like, $1 million.
Zada. The point is the star performer. And the point is not, I don't do anything, but I'm thinking introductions are there, but people are extraordinary. The breakthroughs are great. Pakistan diaspora is extraordinary diaspora in banking, in the world. Look at Apna, look at Sapna, look at national health in the UK. If you look at it, Pakistani doctors, engineers, and management consultants are all over the world. They are all over the world.
Can you do the Apna and... part.
No, these Apna and Sapna, these are medical doctors in America. So they have done very, very well. So it's not in terms of diaspora. Yes, we have not been able to break through that ceiling, glass ceiling, that Indians have been the best CEOs in the sense that 20 companies in the world are CEOs, but those Indians are all American nationals. And Google has had it by Indian, and Microsoft is that. But on the other hand, we didn't have IITs and IIM, which India created in 1950. We lost the focus, but we have started what Nust and all are doing since 2000. I expect that by 2040, 35, you'll see CEOs of
No,
banks.
मैं आपको जो अभी लेके गया था to a software developing house, you saw about 1,000, 1,500 young people that are
but
all...
It's changing. I'm absolutely. I have a feeling that we were behind 40, 50 years, but I see extraordinary momentum. So living in Pakistan, looking at the grassroots level, and I'm going to continue with that grassroots, and I want to learn new, and I feel very good. Honestly, I feel very happy that I have done that. I feel reinvigorated within me. My soul is very happy.
So if I could sum this up, you've enjoyed Jahannam.
No, but there is no Jahannam. This is heaven. And heaven, you can't care more about it. Now, जन्नत भी पता नहीं क्या है, जहाँ इंसान खुश नहीं है वही जन्नत. मैंने जन्नत और जहन्नम में फ़र्क क्या है शहबाज? मेरे वालिद ने एक दफ़ा ये किस्सा सुनाया कि जन्नत और जहन्नम में ना एक आदमी गया तो उसको उन्होंने कहा कि भाई, उसने बोला कि तुम्हारा कोर्स 50-50 है. तो अल्लाह ने बोला कि मैं तुम्हारे लिए एक जेनरसिटी करता हूँ. You decide which part you want to go. You're right on the bang in the middle, 50-50. तुम decide करो. तो कहेंगे मैं देख कर decide करूँगा. बोला okay, give you that leeway also. He went to Jahannam. So he went to Jannat. He saw that the hands are tied up like this, and people are there, and they're living like this, and we have to take the food, and they have to give it to each other's mouth. This is Jannat, the heaven. So he looks, I'm not going to live here. What? His hands are tied up. I rather, and everyone's hands are tied like this, but they are helping each other, giving food to the other mouth. So this one is giving, he's giving to this. That's how it's working. So he said, no, I'm not. He said, Gabriel, no, take me to the Jahannam now. I'm not impressed with this. Jahannam में गया तो वही लोग उसी तरह हैं, लेकिन वो एक दूसरे से लड़ रहे हैं, एक दूसरे को दे नहीं रहे. The basic issue is peace. Within mindset में peace होना. अपने आप के साथ अगर तुम पीस नहीं करोगे ना जिंदगी में कभी काम, if you है की तलाश मगर खूब तर कहाँ, we kill ourselves. We just keep looking for better, and one day we die. Like दोस्ती की एक छोटी शॉर्ट स्टोरी है कि एक आदमी को बोला कि जितना तुम्हें ये लैंड करना है या शौकौन किया है या किसकी है कि तुम ले लो ना. तो वो आदमी को बोला शाम के 4 बजे तुमको वापस आना है. वो आदमी भागता गया 3 बजे तक. वो इतना इलाका, फिर 3 बजे उसका ख्याल आया कि मुझे वापस पहुँचना है 4 बजे. जब तक वो वापस आया तो हार्ट अटैक से मर गया. तो उसको कुछ भी नहीं मिला. ग्रीड has to be, retracted, empathy, compassion, yet humility. These are the kind of features. If you establish, you become anything in life if you don't have empathy. Empathy is a cement that holds things together. Compassion is things that hold things together. इसको निकाल दो, कुछ नहीं होगा.
I feel like they're the basic fabrics of society. Empathy and these things. This is what holds.
अगर आपकी constitution नहीं, आपकी केयर नहीं कर रहे, आप समझते हैं दुनिया में दूसरे इंसान बसते ही नहीं है, then you're gone. You're a goner. I tell you, we all are extraordinary beings. We are unique in the entire universe. That's my focus.
So, Uncle Iqbal, before I ask you the next question, the thing, ये जो जावेद अख्तर साहब की बात सबसे हमें, the reason that it hit. Pakistan has many cities. सही है हमारे, और हर शहर का, हर सिटी का अपना, वो हम कहते हैं ना आजकल वाइब है. कराची इज़ कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट. Peshawar, Quetta, Faisalabad, Pindi, Islamabad. You go up north, the various cities there, Sialkot. All of these are on one side. Then there's Lahore. Lahore is like हम लोगों के लिए, it's like the crown jewel. I feel like it's the perfect city. It's got the most fantastic, and मेरे साथ बहुत लोग इस बात पे आर्ग्यूमेंट करते हैं, and I मैं उनको बताता हूँ कि यार जब आप एक शहर को देखते हो, आप लोग लंदन में जाके बॉन्ड स्ट्रीट का सोचते हो और न्यूयॉर्क में आप एव ऑफ द स्टार्स का और बेवरली हिल्स. दिस इज़ नॉट व्हाट अ सिटी इज़. A city is its infrastructure, its public transportation, its restaurants, its poetry, its literature, its people,
Absolutely.
and when जब लाहौर को आप देखेंगे in terms of its infrastructure, it's very unique. पूरी दुनिया में आपको इस तरह का शहर नहीं मिलेगा with a road network like this, with public transportation like this. It's we've spent billions to create this, and then historically we are very like ये मतलब आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि मैं हूँ ऐसा आदमी, मगर जो इस शहर के लोग हैं वो बहुत हॉस्पिटेबल लोग हैं. और अभी मेरा एक दोस्त है, ही इज़ हिज नेम इज़ सलीम, ही इज़ मैरिड टू माहिरा खान हु इज़ पाकिस्तान की सबसे बड़ी एक्ट्रेस. एंड मैं उसके इंस्टाग्राम पे देख रहा था एंड उसने अमेजिंग वीडियोज़ लगाई हुई और फॉरेनर्स जो सारे पाकिस्तान आ रहे हैं. And these are not the Javed Akhtars of the world, the intellectuals of the world. These are the travelers and the bloggers. And I find कि जो off topic, but people that love to travel, I really love those. I mean, I find them amazing people because of that curiosity. हम लोगों को whatever it is, we have a 9 to 5 and families, and you can't just get up and go. You by the way are a traveler as well. It's such an amazing thing that you can do. And so, anyways. ये सारे लड़के आए हुए थे, लड़के और ख़वातीन बाहर के मुल्क से, जर्मनी से, फ्रांस से, इंग्लैंड से, और पूरे पाकिस्तान ये जा रहे थे. और all they kept saying is that this is not just the most beautiful country when you go up north and you see the cities, but इनके खाने और इनकी जो hospitality है, देर लाइक हमें पूरी एक औरत थी, उसकी उन्होंने 16 दुकानों पे वीडियो दिखाई. वो चाय की दुकान पे गई, समोसे की दुकान पे गई, एक सेवरी शॉप, इधर उधर जहाँ भी वो गई उन्होंने कहा मैडम हमें आपसे ₹1 नहीं चाहिए, आप खाएं, एंजॉय करें. और वो उसको दुपट्टे दे रहे हैं और चूड़ियाँ दे रहे हैं, और शी इज़ गोइंग थ्रू द शहर एंड वो उसके पास वो शी इज़ होल्डिंग हर फ़ोन एंड माइक और whatever, और वो बस बता रही है यार ये मेरे से पैसे ही नहीं ले रहे. और ये एक ब्लॉगर या व्लॉगर या ट्रैवल व्लॉगर का बयान नहीं है, ये वो 15 के 15 लोग कह रहे हैं कराची से अप नॉर्थ तक, यार ये हमसे चाय के पैसे नहीं लेते, खाने के पैसे, दे सो हॉस्पिटल, अपने घरों में बुलाते हैं, दे जस्ट सच लवली पीपल, हेल्पफुल. सड़कों पे जाओ, लोगों से बात करो, इतने खुश होते हैं, यू हैव कम फ्रॉम अमेरिका, एंड खुश भंगड़ा डालना शुरू हो जाते हैं और इतने खुश होते हैं. एंड देन टू से एंड दैट हॉस्पिटैलिटी, दैट नेचुरल जो मैं कहता हूँ हमारी कुदरती हॉस्पिटैलिटी है, वो एक्सटेंड हुई थी टू जावेद अख्तर साहब. और काफ़ी ज़्यादा जो लोग थे उन्होंने गालियाँ भी दी, हमारे कुछ सेलिब्रिटीज़ थे वो बहुत उनको केटर कर रहे थे. एंड आई डिडंट पर्सनली फील देयर वाज एनीथिंग रॉन्ग विद इट, बिकॉज एक पढ़ा लिखा इतना पहुंचा हुआ आदमी है और वो पाकिस्तान आ रहा है, और आपके जो सिंगर्स हैं और राइटर्स हैं और एक्टर्स हैं और एक्ट्रेसेस हैं, ही इज़ मैरिड टू such a huge star as well. His son is such a big director, and a lot of us grew up on some of his movies, and so he's held in across a Pakistan-India divide. It's like Javed Akhtar साहब. एंड उनको बहुत ज़्यादा जो है ना ये एक्सटेंड की थी. एंड आप बता रहे हैं लाहौर फोर्ट में होस्ट, मुझे कभी किसी ने लाहौर फोर्ट में होस्ट नहीं किया.
स्टेट डिनर,
स्टेट
वाजपेयी वाज देयर, नवाज शरीफ वाज देयर.
एंड अभी भी व्हेन ही केम ही वाज स्टेट लेवल पे उनको होस्ट किया था, टुक हिम टू द शहर. एंड देन आफ्टर दैट इज व्हेन दिस हेट्रेड कम्स. एंड अब देखें, obviously I'm Pakistani as well, and it is this banter between us, but I don't enjoy this situation. I'm not a supporter of war. I've lived 5 years in war, and I know this is false bravado. When it comes to your doorstep, it just destroys you. And then to see learned people, I have not met a single person in Pakistan, from young people to older people, politicians, anyone with war rhetoric. इनको बर्बाद कर दो, इनके बच्चों को आग लगा दो, इनका खाना बंद कर दो. एंड मैं इस वजह से ये आपसे ज़रा लंबा सवाल पूछ रहा हूँ, बिकॉज इसमें एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात है. इन्होंने हमें एज अ टेररिस्ट फंडिंग नेशन, एज एक्सट्रीमिस्ट्स, और मैं इसका आई फाइंड इट पर्सनली इंसल्टिंग बिकॉज आई हैव सफर्ड from extremism and terrorism. My father was murdered by an extremist, and I was kidnapped by a terrorist for 5 years. I lost 5 years of my life, and my family lost everything because of extremism. But Pakistan is not an extremist country. It's not a terrorist supporting country. We are a conservative Muslim country by by nature again. But we are not extremists. We shun extremism in all its forms, whether it's political, whether it's in society. We are a very learned people, where everybody that you meet is, wants to achieve something in life, higher education, this, that. You meet the young people in my office right now, they have these amazing goals. Sometimes it almost sounds like, if you speak to these guys, it's like a little kid telling you, I want to be an astronaut. But theirs are more achievable, because of the paths that they're on. And then I felt, because of this attack by the intellectuals and trying to label us as terrorists who deserve war and famine and all kinds of things that come with it. And then one of the most historical documents, one of the most historical treaties and I feel like Pakistaniyon ko uska itna pata nahi hai. We're a young country, and a lot of people in Pakistan, about 60-70% of the population is under the age of 30. So there's so much knowledge you can intake and so much history you can know about, especially when there's so much to learn living in this age today. And इन्होंने हमें collectively punish किया. You see that a lot. You see that in Palestine. You see that all over the world, collective punishment. And they've suspended the Indus Water Treaty, which is not a Pakistan-India problem. I think it's a kind of document जो global level पे is a foundation for any country to solve its problem and work together regardless of where you find yourself or opposite ends that you find yourself. I've spoken for about 5 minutes, but the reason I was saying this was because you're a water expert. आपने जब अपने आप को ही introduce किया, तो I love when you say that I was born on the river banks of the Indus. I love it, people who speak like this and have that affiliation.
I still live on Thames. You saw the last time.
You live on the Thames, yeah.
I'm staying in Paris. I love water.
And so, मैं जब आपको बता रहा था कि 70% of this country's population is under 30, but also 60 to 70% of this country's population is illiterate in terms of they don't even know who a militant is. They've never met one. They don't know anything about it. And to punish, say, 180 million people who don't know anything about terrorism or extremism, they go about their day-to-day lives. Maybe they're conservative, but they're hardworking people. Pakistanis are very hardworking people. They have to make ends meet in very difficult circumstances. So they're not funders of terrorism. They're not funders of extremism. They're, trying to fund their day-to-day. To collectively punish 180 million people, because that's what 70% of the population is. And the other 30% is people like yourself and I, from the lower middle class to the upper middle class. And I'm sorry, I've again never met anyone who said, no. I'm very proud to support Osama bin Laden. I was funding his last IPO. I've never heard this in my life. Living here, and I've been kidnapped by terrorists, and my father was killed by an extremist. I remember जब मैं BBC Hard Talk पे था, उन्होंने मुझे कहा 1 लाख लोग आए थे आपके वालिद साहब का कत्ल सेलिब्रेट करने. मैंने कहा 1 लाख बंदा, तो मैं अभी कहूँ चावल फ्री में मैं दे रहा हूँ, तो 1 लाख बंदा आ जाएगा चावल खाने. ये 250 मिलियन लोगों का मुल्क है. 1 लाख लोग आने का मतलब है फेल हो गई है ये मूवमेंट. ये मूवमेंट फेल होगी. आप किसी स्कूल में जाएं, यूनिवर्सिटी में जाएं, आप किसी बंदे से मिलें, वो आपको कभी ये एक्सट्रीमिस्ट व्यू नहीं आएगा. वो हमेशा कहेंगे सलमान तासीर हक पे था, बहुत बहादुर आदमी था, शहीद था, और काश पाकिस्तान में ऐसे लोग और होते. ये मैंने पाकिस्तानियों से सुना है. मैं जब मेरे से लोग कहते हैं तुम क्यों इधर रहते हो, क्योंकि मुझे ये हमदर्दी मेरी कौम के लोग देते हैं कि तुम इधर, you're safe here. You understand? You're safe here. Your father's legacy is safe. That's why I live in this country. Regardless of the difficulties, मुझे हमदर्दी मेरी कौम से आती है. So to see this collective punishment of such a historical treaty, and now I'm just going to put it across to you. I want you to speak openly. You're a student of the Indus Water Treaty. You understand water treaties. You understand their significance, their political significance. You also understand them on a level of geopolitical importance to control 2 nuclear countries,
Absolutely.
Going head to head with each other. Also, about 1.5 billion people that live in these 2 countries that are dependent on people upholding these treaties. So there has to be, and I don't know, I find that the world has gone a bit, whether you see the Russians and the Ukrainians and the Europeans and the Iranians and the Israelis and the Palestinians, everywhere you go, Chinese and the Taiwanese, wherever you're looking at, people are preferring conflict over resolution. But before this conflict with Pakistan and India, one of the things that I always used to say to people is that despite our differences, we uphold the most important treaty in the world right now because it's between two nuclear states. And it shows कि चाहे चीज़ें कितनी बुरी हो जाएं, हम लोगों ने ट्रेड सस्पेंड किया हुआ है, डिप्लोमेटिक रिलेशन सस्पेंड की हुई हैं, मगर हमने इंसानियत को कभी सस्पेंड नहीं किया. And I have to say this as a Pakistani, that we have not broken our end of that bargain. And I'm sure, and I say this as, it would be false of me to say that Pakistan doesn't play a role in proxy wars. But then again, it would be wrong to say that India doesn't. India funds as much terrorism as Pakistan does against each other. They do this to each other. And it happens all over Pakistan, it happens all over India. They're doing it to each other. But to bring it onto the populations, fight your government level and your military level proxy war however you want to. You fund, one funds Pakistani Taliban, one funds this Indian side of it. I've seen it with my own eyes, so I'm speaking as an eyewitness. But why suspend insaniyat between two countries? Then you're reduced to nothing. Yeah. So sorry again, because it's of a lot of interest to someone like me, I feel like हमारी जो अब ये young लोग जो आ रहे हैं, they're going to, ये हमारे bureaucrats होंगे, ये हमारे सियासतदान होंगे, ये हमारे policy makers होंगे, तो ये ट्रीटी कितनी इम्पोर्टेंट है, ये क्या करती है पाकिस्तान के लिए, हमने क्या गिव अप किया था to get whatever we got, unne kya give up kiya to get what, and where are we today in terms of the suspension of this treaty?
So
I'm sorry for the extremely long question.
No, it's okay, because this is such an important treaty that you cannot just ask one-liner. You have to give the background of it and the reasons why it has been put at abeyance or abrogated. First of all, it was put in abeyance, they call it, and it was within 24 hours of that Belgaum incident. Yeah. And within 24 hours. So that's something strange. Without even any investigation, they become judge, jury, and executioner. So it was planned, because they were just waiting for an incident. Because since 2022, there's a commission that needs to meet regularly on treaty violations and water, that's how it's distributed. And that has not been met. It's not been meeting, because Pakistan has been requesting it. Kashmir Dam was being made and all. So certain conditions had to be met, and Mr. Modi refused since 2022.
So this has nothing to do with the
commission that treaty allows a commission, two-nation commission to.
नहीं, मेरा सवाल था कि मतलब कि ये इस treaty की violation और चीजें meet ना होना was happening in 2022 before this.
This was just a fake.
So you say this is a facade.
They wanted a reason. They wanted a reason, something to tell the world that, and then they wanted to create it. So, in my opinion, this is a farcical show. To abrogate or put in abeyance a treaty which is there since 1960, which is between two sovereign nations, which was put together by World Bank and consortium nations like United States.
The World Bank is the guarantor.
No, it's not a guarantor, but they put it together, but it's executioner of the deal. Because in 1951, they decided that if there will be no treaty between Pakistan and India on water, there will be water wars. And water wars will be very, very dangerous. Now, these are two nuclear-tipped nations now. Water is the lifeline of entire Pakistan, but lifeline of India as well, to Punjab of India, because India does not only work with Ganges and Brahmaputra, Indo-Ganges plain. We work with these 5 rivers also, but they have Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats, and they have monsoons very favorable. So India problems are lesser with this treaty. But treaty was to be executed. What is this treaty? Can you explain it? The reason is very simple, that Himalayas, why we have 2.6 billion people or 3 billion people living in this confluence, in this. If you fly 2,000 kilometers, putting K2 as a center, you'll see that the total population in this region is 2.6 billion people. Why there's so much of people in this region? Because the reason is only 11% of the landmass is populated. Rest of the landmass is empty. And why? Because of the Himalayas. Himalayas created those conditions that created rivers. Himalayas, height of Himalayas, the precipitation that stops there, then comes monsoons that are created. This is a natural cycle, and hence riparian rivers were created coming out of the outside the glaciers. North Pole and South Pole, largest glaciers are in those regions. From one end, from you come down from the southernmost end to the northern end of Hindu Kush and Himalayas, and this is Karakoram. These are what mountain create. They create ice, they create snow, they create water. They are glaciers there. The largest four peaks are in Pakistan after Kargil, and largest glaciers are in Pakistan. The four largest glaciers are in Pakistan. So Indus originates from Mansabran Lake, and before that in Tibet, like Lake Victoria, like for Nile, and for Euphrates and the mountains in Turkey, and things like that. All great great rivers are the cradle of civilizations. If you look at it, Indus civilization rose on the banks of Indus, Harappa, Takshila, and Mohenjo-daro. And similarly, Indo-Ganges plain created these great civilizations that today we are considered as cradle of civilization. Yeah. The youngest civilization, like Euphrates, Tigris, Dajla and Farad, and Nile, the Pharaonic civilization, the Mesopotamian civilization, to disregard. So these are not only 1947 matters. These are civilizational issues that I was trying to re-emphasize the point that you're making. When you are talking about water, what happened in 1947 was the land was divided by Radcliffe, and that with a pencil, within 62 days, he drew a line that divided the rivers, divided the mountains, divided whatever. It was a political decision. Who did it? What was wrong or right? Leave that aside. But then waters which originated in Tibet came across Pakistan, and they need to be distributed. And in 1947-48, there was factors that, there was reasons for us to believe that, for example, why did Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was killed by Hindu extremists? Because he kept a Maran Bharat to let the Indian government release the amount of monies which were due to Pakistan, which were being refused. So in the head work at Fazilka and in Indian, which were for Ravi, were closed in 1948. So World Bank realized that there was a person called Mackenzie in 1951. He decided that we need to have a distribution treaty between Pakistan and India. So versus the kind of water that comes and all this, these are agrarian-based societies, these are riparian societies, these are peaceful societies. One of the theories and theses I wrote in one of my books was that riparian society create the big peaceful nation. These were all peaceful people living. Therefore, civilization rose there. Why civilizations rose on the banks of Dajla and Farad, Euphrates, and cuneiforms were formed? Because these are clean water give rise to civilization, give rise to food, give rise to extra food, abundance. That's how civilization is created. Similarly, Indus civilization was created. Language was formed. So far, we had not been able to decipher the Mohenjo-daro, calligraphy so far. So the point is, these are not issues that can be decided in 10 minutes of an incident. It's so cruel on a part. And then, as you say very rightly put it, that these are civilizational issues. These are they are attack on the heart of the civilization. And then to say that, okay, not a single drop of water will go. It's, first of all, it's so cruel. The collective punishment is not, we have moved past that. We have moved past that long time ago. The collective crime of my should not be given punishment to my sons. It's my crime. I should be punished. Not my entire family should be punished. That is a medieval law. That medieval law has been surpassed. Here, you're very rightly pointing out that there's a collective justice meted out that, okay, since you cannot stop Palwana, since you cannot stop Palgam, or since you did Mumbai, since you did, there will be 1,000 cuts. Okay, 1,000 cuts. Yes, there has been terror incidents, but terror incidents in Pakistan have been 100 times more. We sit on a confluence of a very volatile society, very ideological, right society which believes in guns and believes in bloodletting and believes in bloodshed. So this happens, basically there are radicals. If there is a simmering issue, which President Trump said, that yes, there's a 1,000-year-old issue of Kashmir, we stop talking about it. So you don't talk about it. Okay, it's a subject that is a part of us. Don't talk about it. But that's not the case. If Junagadh can be talked about, then Kashmir can be talked about. And if Balochistan Liberation Army, BLA, can be talked about, so is Kashmir can be talked about. So is Khalistan can be talked about. The point is very simple. No, it's one-man upmanship. No, don't have to talk about Kashmir. So there is a causative reason there. It exists. There's a problem. If you have 50,000 soldiers, if they cannot stop that restive region, and these 4 people who are local Indian national Kashmiris, all 4 of them, and they do something, imagine how we have become hostage to few terrorists. Imagine that every time any terror incidents happen and we say there will be a nuclear war with India. How foolish will be that?
Yeah.
You got to understand, you cannot become... Now, every terrorist gleefully is waiting for one chance to make something in India, so there is a war. Because war will create the vacuum that will create Iraq and Syria and Daesh and Al-Qaeda. Do you understand fragmenting of Pakistan and obliteration of Pakistan and the destruction of a federal state which is run by a strong centrifugal force of, army that Pakistan has? If you destroy it, if you bifurcate it, if you disintegrate it, and so that will create a big problem. No. That will create a commotion.
And Uncle Iqbal, मैंने अपनी आंखों के साथ देखा है गुर्बत के एरियाज पाकिस्तान में, जहाँ पहले मैं obviously I've never been to the वज़ीरिस्तान and these areas, बट जब मैं इन ग्रुप्स के मदरसों में गया और मैंने उन बच्चों को देखा, वो 2-2 साल 3-3 साल की उम्र पे उनको जो रेट्रिक सिखा रहे हैं और उनको कैसे ट्रेन कर रहे हैं, एंड देयर थाउजेंड्स ऑफ देम एंड दे आर ऑल इन अफ़गानिस्तान नाउ, एंड ये जो बॉर्डर है हमारा अफ़गानिस्तान, पाकिस्तान, ईरान और फिर इंडिया और पाकिस्तान का, दीज आर सम ऑफ द लार्जेस्ट बॉर्डर्स इन द वर्ल्ड, एंड जो स्पेशली पाकिस्तान और अफ़गानिस्तान का, बिकॉज मैं खुद
volatile borders.
It cannot be manned. No. You had America with all of its allies in that part of the world for so many years. I'm saying this in context to Barka Dutt was flashing Osama bin Laden's picture and saying he was found in Abbottabad, and I found that so like ये कोई बातें करने की. What about the hundreds and hundreds of Al-Qaeda heads, of Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan heads, Haqqani network guys that were killed?
But in 1978, when USSR invaded Afghanistan, India became neutral. Let's be honest. They accepted the puppet government.
Yeah.
So who fought the war? The point is this, that it was imposed. These radicals were brought from all over the world, collected.
But हमारा जो ये डिफेंस मिनिस्टर है, वो ख्वाजा आसिफ साहब, उनकी भी स्टेटमेंट को ट्विस्ट कर दिया. वो याल्दा ने कहा कि वो कहते हैं कि we've been doing America's what was that dirty work? It was in the 70s and 80s of setting up these.
The point is that basically you created a whole, you had to face it.
Create an
that
ecosystem.
The USSR wanted. I had an interview with that. You saw that. I sent you that interview that I had with Brezhnev, press secretary. And how did it happen? He said it was taken by Andropov, and Brezhnev was on deathbed, and they took this decision that Amin is getting pro-American, and they decided to invade Afghanistan. And Carter and Reagan continued to fund that. That no, we are not going to allow it, because Arabian Gulf should not be manned by USSR in those days. For them, USSR was a bigger problem. Coming back to the point that these are the regions, even British Raj, the regions you talk about, Mir Ali and all, these were left as no man's land. These were not, Pakistan was bestowed with this. These are the most volatile regions. These are the Khyber Pass and Bolan Pass, what India fails to understand. If you look at the Battle of Terrain, the first battle, the second Battle of Terrain, the first Battle of Panipat, the second, the third, where did all these invaders and plunderers come from? From there. We are a buffer now. So we are suffering from that too. So basically those radical elements, they kidnap you, they kidnap people, they kill. There have been 70,000 people killed in last 10 years or 20 years. That's what CENTCOM journal, that's what he said.
No, this is a conservative number, because Uncle Iqbal, I was in places where I saw hundreds of people die and the media reported, 20 heard, because there's no journalists allowed in these.
That's exactly is my point, that to say why Pakistan is not peaceful like Bangladesh. Bangladesh. Pakistan is not particular Nepal. Why all the problems that, Baba, you're in the volatile region for 5,000 years. There were 100 years from Mir Taki Mir Ghalib to Ghalib. 100 years of that was volatile completely.
And
Abdali used to come down. And Taraj Delhi was known. Taraj Delhi. So we have own false imaginations. But the fact is that buffer has been created since Maharaja Ranjit Singh took over that area and closed Khyber Pass, and then in 1892-93 they created that line, the Durand line. That's what has stopped the invasions to India.
But Uncle Iqbal, it's really funny for me because ये जो route है, ये सिर्फ Silk Route, ये trade की route नहीं है, one of the oldest routes in the world, right? This
Human
region.
history में.
But it's human trafficking, smuggling. मैं खुद 7 days Afghanistan से Pakistan through 6 provinces. Not a single person did we meet unless they wanted to meet someone. And ये संसान abandoned areas हैं जहाँ अगर आप रात भी रुक रहे हो ना, you fear that the elements will consume you. They are such scary places. I have spent more time than I should have.
That's what
And Uncle Iqbal, मैं जब कभी कभार तालिबान से पूछता था ना, जो मैं इधर आ रहा था कि यार आप लोगों को इस तरह की जगहों पे डर नहीं लगता, लाइक इतनी सुनसान जगह है वो, वो कहते थे कि जो लोग इन जगहों को इस्तेमाल करते हैं, मतलब ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकर्स, स्मगलर्स, हु आर कंसिडर्ड द मोस्ट डेंजरस एंड हिडन पीपल, राइट, वो दे डोंट मेस विद अस. तो मैंने सिर्फ ये नोटिस किया. अब देखें, आई हैव बीन टू इंडिया, आई हैव बीन टू कश्मीर, आई हैव बीन फ्रॉम कश्मीर इनटू चाइना, आई हैव बीन लाहौर, इस्लामाबाद, कराची, और ड्रिवन ऑल ओवर पाकिस्तान, राइट? बट देयर इज अ डिफरेंस इन दिस साइड एंड दिस साइड. When I went from Mir Ali to Data Khel, from Data Khel to Shawal, from Shawal to into Afghanistan, मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ कि मैंने सोचा, बहुत मैं सोचता था कि शायद अगर दुनिया में कोई ऐसी जगह है जहाँ अल्लाह की नूर नहीं पहुँची, अबैंडन कर दिया अल्लाह ने उस जगह को, तो ये एरिया. उधर आपको सिर्फ मौत का एक ड्रेड होता था हर वक्त, चाहे वो हवा में है, ज़मीन पे, मौत का डर कि आई विल बी मर्डर्ड वेरी सून. इट्स सो वॉलेटाइल. उधर कोई फौजी दुनिया का ज़मीन पे टच नहीं हो सकता. पाकिस्तान के अलावा जो हमारी साइड है ना बॉर्डर्स की, संसान जगहों पे हमने चेक पोस्ट लगाए हुए. वी आर डूइंग आवर एब्सोल्यूट बेस्ट टू मैन दिस मैसिव बॉर्डर. इफ वी weren't doing that, there is no control on movement of...
And that exactly is the point I was trying to make, that we don't want to digress from that. That exactly is the point. You bring the first bird's eye view that you have gone through that. That is the kind of people we are dealing with. So this radicalization does get across.
And they only want death. So if we are going to be collectively punished for the acts of Al-Qaeda or the Taliban, then Pakistan is on a small land.
And why can't you solve the problem at the base? That's what President Trump is saying. So coming back to the point that the whole issue is that you don't want to address the problem. You don't want to have any commission to do, and you don't want to, no, this is a bilateral issue. You don't want to discuss the bilateral issue. You just say why there is a terror incident, and you neglect your 500,000 soldiers. They're unable to stop it. I wish they would stop it. I wish, because I really don't want terror. I really don't want innocent people to be killed. I have my heart bleeds when these evil people, monstrous people, go and kill innocent people. You have a political statement.
And you've had personal loss.
Absolutely.
Whether it was, my father was a very close friend of yours. He was killed by an extremist who was riled up 1 or 2 nights before. The guy wasn't a murderer. He had no history of psycho. He was riled up 1 night before by a clerk. And then I know you were very close to Mohtarma Shahid Benazir Bhutto as well. And she was killed by
every reasonable person. We are working. So the most volatile, most radical population, we are handling it. We are a buffer. They should pay some kind of
homage.
Some kind of payment to keep the buffer, Khyber Pass closed. For 5,000 years, these people were not able to close the Khyber Pass. How did it get occupied by Ghaznavi and Ghori and Delhi Sultans and Mughals and Tamerlane and Mughals, and then coming back to Abdali and Nadir Shah, Peacock and Kohinoor? They all lost because they were weak.
They were
always fighting. Second battle of Train was lost because one Hindu, Prithviraj Chauhan, the Skandiya's Maharaja, refused to support him, and Gauri won the second battle. Otherwise, he would have lost it, and there would be a different history of India.
Yeah.
Indian subjugation came as a result of their own intestine wars. Why there were 565 princely states? They were always fighting amongst each other. Why Lodi was supported by one set of Hindu Maharajas and Rajputs, and Babur was supported by another one. There was a fight between two Muslims. It was never a Muslim invasion of India. It was, for last 1,000 years, one Maharaja would support others, and they would be selling themselves short.
Yeah.
The fact is, why don't you read your own history closely before you hold us responsible that a Muslim came and fought? You could have been united and Gauri would have been defeated. You could have been united and Ghaznavi would have not come in. They were all Vandals, no doubt. Babur was a Vela. In Farghana, he had lost his dynasty.
He was outcast.
And he brought some people.
500 horses or something.
And that's it. And then you became, so are we responsible? Pakistanis have not created.
And he was Uzbek. No. He wasn't Pakistani. He wasn't from Lahore.
Why do you put anything good you take from us and anything bad you put on the, you're a terrorist. The point is that the region that for our 2,500 years of history tells us it was a region full of Vandals, and now we have closed that region, and there is a spill-out effect. They come over like they did that to you. So coming back to the IWT 1960, that was a kind of background that the reason Dita was that you support terrorism, will not give you water. Now, how much is that a logical? It's a logical fallacy, because on one hand, you have a volatile region. This is the reason President Trump does not buy it. So the whole idea of Mr. Modi and his RSS and his Janata Party wanted to do, BJP, whatever it was, wanted to put the world as, Pakistan is a rogue state. Create an example as a rogue state, and then, we can punish Pakistan. And we have that is the reason. And then this
but
was
Uncle Iqbal, do you think that narrative, because मैं जब college गया था, I was the first generation of Pakistani students. मैं आपके साथ रहता था when I was in college. I was the first generation of Pakistani students to go to college after 9/11. So 9/11 happened and I went to college. So we felt, pre 9/11, post 9/11, the world was very different for us. We were viewed differently before as, Pakistani. But after that, like, oh God, you Pakistan, बड़ा different होता था. I don't feel that anymore when I am in Hong Kong and I tell people, because now I speak a lot internationally about my own experience, and I meet the most wonderful people, and
Absolutely.
Your son hosted me in London, and wonderful people, and they have nothing bad to say about Pakistan. Maybe they in the beginning, like मेरे पास बहुत ज़्यादा लोग आए and they say, यार अगर हमें कोई suspicion भी थी about Pakistan, when we look at you speaking, living, doing, and maybe get a glimpse of Pakistan through you or your social media, it's completely different from what we've been told.
Only very few people still try to sell us as a group of terrorists. We are not. This Lahore, can you imagine that I can go, the other day I was in Old Narkali, I said, listen, if I tell an old man, I told him, if I say Hindustan Zindabad, you'll say anything? No, we love in Hindustan.
Yeah.
No one cares. There were 100 Delhi restaurants there. There were 100 Amritsar restaurants. There were 100 Ludhiana restaurants. There were 100 Hyderabadi restaurants.
And
Mumbai
you see
restaurants.
how close.
There are 100. None, one of them, have any volatile reaction. Why do you have this volatile reaction? You think you are an open, secular state. Leave it. Come on, a Karachi restaurant closed. What I'm trying to say, the mentality has to be open. Yeah. There has to be some kind of
But I feel
liberal.
like, इधर एक आदमी के पास गए with the Indian flag, उन्होंने कहा इस पे थूकें, तो he said, यार क्यों यार ये किसी के मुल्क का झंडा है, आप क्यों इस तरह की बात करते हैं?
I carried the Indian flag in Old Anarkali. Unfortunately, I didn't have anyone to take it.
तो like Uncle Iqbal इधर एक वो पाकिस्तानी के पास गए इंडियन झंडे के साथ, उन्होंने कहा इस पे थूकें तो something step on it, and he said क्यों यार आप क्यों किसी मुल्क के आपके मुल्क के झंडे के साथ कोई ये करे? वो जो I haven't found hatred. ये जो मेरी टीम है इधर behind the cameras, these are the ये fashion और business और ये सारा handle करते हैं, young bloggers and podcasters and things like that. Ask them, they have nothing bad to say about India. They don't care, and they are definitely like.
I've yet to see a single person talking bad about India in
Uncle
the whole
Iqbal,
in whole 1 month.
ये नहीं कहेगा,
Not a single
इनको nuke
person.
कर दो,
No.
इनको खत्म कर दो, इनको starve
Not a
कर
single.
दो.
All love. Not a single. Yes, they feel sad, but not a single. So the point is this whole water thing is a very big problem for Pakistan. The point is Indus comes out of Mansawaran Lake and it come to Kargan and Leah. It's a small stream, 4.2 million
Yes.
acre feet of water comes through that. But luckily, the real water comes in Indus post Kargil until Attock, 120 to 130 million. They come from glaciers. These glaciers are not owned by India. These four highest peaks above 8,000 meters, they're
all owned by
the biggest four glaciers. They feed Indus and the rain and in summer. And Indus flow is perennial flow. For simple reason, Indus in summer is full, in winter is less. In 5 months it gives more than 70%. In other 7 months it gives 30%. So therefore the dams are necessary. So what happened? You asked me earlier on, what is Indus Water Treaty? Indus Water Treaty, looking into this historical past, looking the contiguity of the two nations, looking that Radcliffe made the line through this whole map, and we have common water, common rivers, and they have to be divided equitably. We sat down, we said, okay, there are eastern rivers and the western northern rivers, or west. So we took over, we gave Satluj, Ravi and Beas to India. This is around 35 million acre feet of water for Indian Punjab. And then the treaty calls for making reservoir dams in a seismic zone, which Pakistan took a big risk, and because these dams can go anytime if there's a big seismic activity. But Pakistan had no choice because Pakistan had to give something to take in full control of Chenab, Jhelum, and Indus. So Pakistan took Chenab, Jhelum, and Indus, and they were only allowed. Indian treaty allows that India will dam Ravi, Satluj, and Beas, and they will divert the water, and therefore you have no Buddha Ravi is gone in Lahore. Lahore gave the biggest sacrifice of any city in the world. Would Paris give up its Seine? No. Would London give up its Thames? Lahore did it for sake of Pakistan. And we gave the river because there was
nobody
no other
knows
way.
This. Nobody knows this about Lahore.
But that's a fact. But that's what we got. When people keep talking about, oh, this is our rivers, people don't forget that Pakistan as an entity, as Punjab had given a lot of sacrifice. As a Sindhi, I can tell you that. And that has to be highlighted. One day when I'll meet Bilawal, I'll explain it to him. But this Sindhi movement should understand that the real issues are the upper riparian societies have big leverage, like what India is showing. So Chenab and Jhelum, and we got it. Chenab, Jhelum, and Indus. Now, so India blocked everything. Ravi, Satluj, Beas, they took the entire water, they diverted it. Satluj became a desert, and then we were told to make two dams, which had stored nearly 21 million acre feet of water. Mangla first and Tarbela next. And then who made the money? The money was given by consortium countries, $800 million then.
Back then, which was a huge amount.
A huge amount, which was today's worth $18 billion. Those dams are worth. Those dams are today world largest earthen dams, Mangla as well as Tarbela. And of course, Mangla was a conventional dam. Now, then from those, so to control the perennial flow of Indus, water is stored in summer so that it is released to the canals in the winter. So that then how Nara Canal is fed through Sucker. And that's a problem. That Indus River had a problem since childhood. I've seen, that's what the reason I became hydrological expert, because of the reason I started looking in Sucker. In December, there was no water. We could walk across Sadhu Bela. But in winter, there would be full. In summer, it will be full. So when there's too much water one time and then there's no water the other time, then you have to store. That's the point. And then the store, you create two benefits. One, not only you store for the bad days, you also create energy. So synchronization of the dam was very important. Dasu and Tarbela and Mangla and Kalaba were also dams that would have created a lot of hydroelectric power. We should have not imported this furnace oil plants. We should have made dams.
My father was a huge...
absolutely. That's how I became a friend. Yeah. I was speaking on Kalabagh Dam, and your father, your Mamu, Ehsan, listened it, and in those days, I don't know how he was able to tell him.
He had that big Nokia in the days.
The days stayed away. I got a call at 8 o'clock. Who is this, Salman Taseer? I heard you speak in Islamabad today. Muhammad bin Sumra was supervising it. I think he was the Senate chairman those days. And then he said, why did you come? And I stayed in your mother's house, grandmother's house.
In Karachi?
In Islamabad,
Achha,
in Lahore.
in Lahore,
No,
Lahore.
where you live now.
That's where I live.
Exactly
Okay,
where I went yesterday. Where you live. I was living there. He put up straight away, and we became friends from that on. That was in 1997 or something. So what I'm trying to say, these are the kind of things that the border is lifeline for Pakistan.
You know, before Abba was killed, he wrote a thesis on why we should build.
Absolutely.
Did you read that?
Yeah. When this border thing happened and everything was signed and sealed, all these things done. Now you undo it all. How can you do it? This is a rogue. Only a rogue state can do it. This treaty cannot be because what I'm trying to say is the repercussions of this for India are huge. They don't seem to understand that every 1 million acre border is a loss of $600 million, $500 million for Pakistan.
So what should Pakistan do?
So Pakistan has a lot of first of all, it looks very bad as the cosmetics, as optics for Mr. Modi to tell the world, I have abrogated a treaty. It's a law-based world. G7, you cannot come, and therefore, you cannot go in there and tell, I have abrogated a treaty because I had in 10 minutes registered a FIR and they had attacked as a terrorist state, sponsoring state. I've done it. Now, in case, where is the investigation? Where is the result? How did you pin them down that these terrorists were coming from Pakistan? No, they did it in Bombay also in 2002. So the entire crime of Pakistan is all placed into one basket and put in their hand. Come on, you do it. Now, point is very simple. Do you want Pakistan nation to survive or not? No, I will punish you. Punish you with what? Not a single drop of water. It's nonsense.
But he went one step forward and he spoke to the young people of Pakistan.
Yeah, and
Did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
And I, Iqbal uncle, जब अब्बा governor थे, तो he used to go to a lot of university and school की convocations and graduates के साथ I used to hear him speak. And myself, मेरे से बड़े लोग पूछते हैं कि why do you keep going on about this kidnapping? And it's also semi-dangerous to keep speaking about something like this in Pakistan. I always tell them, I used to watch, I had a auditor in my office, worked with us for the longest time, became head of my group audit. And when he became head of group audit, he came to me one day, Mamu and I, Shariar, were sitting, and he came and he showed me a picture. And he said, sir, ye meri graduation ki tasveer hai. Your father gave me my diploma. Mm-hmm. And I looked at it and he was like, उन्होंने जो graduation ceremony में speech दी थी, I heard the speech and I said, I want to work for this guy. But he died before I could become a professional and I joined you and you were kidnapped. And I've never mentioned this, but today I've become the head of audit. And, I wanted to tell you about this. I entered this field because I saw your dad. I saw him, whatever it was, he was a chartered accountant. And काफ़ी ज़्यादा chartered accountants को वो कहते हैं ना bookkeeper, nerd, छुपा दो, back end में बैठे रहते हैं, they always focused on numbers. But he said, when I saw this man, I realized कि यार ये shell कैसे टूटता है and कितना
glass ceiling को दो,
glass ceiling इसने smash किया. He's like the king of nerds. And he's like, the guy, that and he was like, but the way he spoke to the young people there, किसी कोई 100-200 लोगों की ग्रेजुएशन थी, हर बच्चा उधर यही कह रहा था, यार मैंने सलमान तासीर की तरह बिजनेसमैन बनना है, यार मैंने भी कुछ ऐसा करना है, ये देख यार ये बंदा क्या बातें कर रहा है, किसने क्या, he started from where और कहाँ, he's the governor of Punjab. And he, and मैं जब भी किसी बंदे से मिलता हूँ who's ever met my father and people like Benazir or Zulfikar, like Abba became what he was because he heard Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. My point was, great leaders, great men,
words.
They inspire. And young people, right, look at you and it's a kick. Like I get it sometimes, not on the scale of yourself and Abba and these great people, but I meet young people and they're like, your story inspires us. And I'm like, well, please don't get kidnapped to be whatever I am. But, it's really nice to get that feedback from young people. And I see all these great people, and as I become older, I study them. I learn from you. You got to keep learning. You never stop.
Lifelong learning. That's the bit.
I have never heard a man, a leader of a country, and Donald Trump gets this stick a lot, for his demeaning manner of, like evacuate Tehran, you're all dead type talk. Very few people who speak that. But to tell I was just talking about, if 70% of the people in Pakistan are under the age of 30, the young people, we're about, again, 150 million people जो under 30 होंगे, to speak about to them in a doomsday scenario कि सीधे हो वरना मेरी गोली भी है.
No, but that's kind of Rodi Khao, Wana Goli Khao. This is a Shole's dialogue. I remember, it reminded me of Gabbar Singh talking to Sanjeev Kumar. That's not the kind of language a leader speaks. So I was neutral. Now I talk very openly about it.
Have we come from quoting Ghalib and Faiz to quoting Gabbar Singh?
Can you? No, it's sad. It's a very sad thing. And I will turn the taps off, and now they are screaming and they're crying. Nothing will happen, honestly. No one can turn the taps off. I tell you honestly, the problem, again, coming back to the treaty, is that Ravi, Satluj and Beas, the worst part of it is, that they cannot, it's not sellable, it's not legally viable for India, is that they take, Modi's mindset is that you take all the water from Ravi, Satluj and Beas as per the treaty. That was our part also. If there is no treaty, then Ravi, Satluj and Beas should be open and we should take our share from it. Right or wrong? If they pass through us, we'll do what we do in our dams. But you take 100% of that water because you have
and we are firm on our commitment.
Okay, and then our water and our Chenab and Jhelum, you're controlling the dams and you're planning to make more dams to stop the water of Chenab by 30 million acre feet. Do you understand what it will cause? It will cause mass famine. It will cause mass famine. It will cause death of 30 to 40 million people in 20 years' time. What kind of sequence is that? What kind of logic is that? What kind of, you can sell it? You see
and it won't kill the Osama bin Ladens. No, it'll just kill poor people.
Poor people.
And those poor people will, and I always saw this mentality in terrorists. मैंने उनके मदरसों में ये बड़ा clearly देखा था. वो उनको हमेशा बताते थे, देखो उन्होंने तुम्हारी माओ, बहनों, बापों के साथ क्या किया, मार दिया.
No, but I don't, even if they, see, even famine is not a good thing, by the way. Even if they don't become terrorists. To die with tended bellies, famine, tended bellies. Bulging eyes. That's what a disaster. How can Hindu Mahabharata, Ramayana, Rigveda does not call for this kind of thing? Even this against the antithesis of the Hinduism, which is coming out of Hinduism, coming out of Buddhism, is a religion of love. We cannot say that it's hate. I take great pride that Hinduism is a great milestone in human civilization. Zero and Vedic numbers, the monasteries that Hindustan claimed, that gave knowledge, is Vishguru of the world. Give the civilization to the world. Let's be honest. So we cannot deny the fact. Our Arabic numbers are Vedic numbers. So we cannot sit down and talk. We have greatest amount of respect for them. But on the other hand, for a man to come and say that I believe in Vishguru, I'm a dharmic person, and then Santan Desh, and then you dharma, and then you make such kind of rash command. Where do we put the entire people of Pakistan? Because you want to punish, because solve the problem. It's very simple. Sit down. In 1999, there was a problem with Vajpayee and Nawaz Sharif. They sat down, Lahore Declaration. It can be worked out. A settlement can be reached. There is not. Pakistan has to remain in peace. They have to be together. They have to work things together. They cannot be looking at each other as a competitors. And India should not be looking at Pakistan as a competitor. What is this obsession with Pakistan? No, look at it. It should be, India should have an obsession with China, because they had equal economies in 1990. They were $360 billion economies. Look at where is China, where is India today, 6 times more. And what is this obsession with Pakistan is a poor country? What is this obsession with we are very rich and you are very... Listen, USA, India and Pakistan, the biggest gift USA gave was this Mexipac grain of... we were about to have a famine. And Norman Borlaug, he was a man who created this in Mexico and gave it to India and Pakistan that avoided the famine. Don't we know how poor we were, all of us? Is the world not aware of how big is the Indian poverty back before Nashaman Rao and before Hindu great rate was never exceeded under Nehru socialist principles? Again, India has taken a very fast trajectory, done very well, but wealth should bring humility, empathy. Where is this new concept that we are wealthy, therefore you are a poor country? What kind of language is this? Imagine you being a rich man, you go on the street and tell a poor man, oh, you're a poor man, what do you eat? I go and see, I respect the poverty. Dignity of poverty is a very important thing. But imagine...
I've always been told, and मैं आपको ये बात बता रहा हूँ, you know, ये concept of looking down.
It's a filthy, vulgar concept. Yeah. The whole idea to create 100 billionaires and say the entire Indian economy is a great economy, $4 trillion economy, but it is very skewed economy.
Yeah.
40% of the wealth is owned. The entire credit is, we have created 100 billionaires, good enough. I'm proud of them. Be more rich, have bigger parties, have a bigger $1 billion party. At the end of the day, don't look down upon other people. Yet, wealth, affluence, prosperity should teach you respect of those who are poor.
Well, yes.
I said, if you don't respect humanity who is poor, who is looking for... India should be a benevolent, a magnanimous state, a greater state. India should be represented by a mind which is not a single word. This is antithesis of what Hindu Dharma stands for. The entire Rig Veda, I have not found one verse where, they would say that
Apartheid.
Destroy. Yeah. No, this is not what it says. It preaches of love and creativity and humanity. And that's at the heart. Look at Christian and look at all the big issues. What I'm trying to say, there's no room for this kind of treatment, because what I was speaking to you, that Ravi, Satluj and Beas, India is taking the entire share of the water, and on the other hand, they are now stealing water from Chenab and by closing the doors of Salal Dam and Baligar Dam, and planning to have more dams and planning to have a canal out of course, I don't know how they'll make it. It's against the gravity, but they'll have to cut a lot of mountains. It will cost a lot of money. But to punish Pakistan, if they have to spend $50 billion and they think that it's normal, then it's a sad state of affairs.
But Uncle Iqbal, can I ask you something?
Let me finish this, because this is a very serious issue, that you take your share completely and you steal our share. How unfair is that? Now, how unfair is that? Just by the stroke of a pen.
And this is water. This is not...
How unfair is that? Even if you take a drop of water, you're taking millions of acre-feet of water away at the moment. Okay, this is summer season. We don't realize it. But soon comes the November, December, January, then you will have impact of that. Why are you doing that? What human impotence of intellect is this, that you go and do things which are absolutely an antithesis of what mankind should stand for? Yes, forgiveness is an integral part of, okay, you want to punish Pakistan? Punish, but not to the people of Pakistan. You have tried to punish on 7th May, or you did on 10th May. You did what you could. Okay, you continue with doing that. But denying water, and then you say that this is normal, and then how can you sell yourself to the world? That's what I'm trying to say. That you say, okay, I'm taking my full share because that's my right. It's Ravi Chatlet Beas, according to treaty, goes to India because they have given, Pakistan has given its share to India because they take Chenab, Jhelum and run off the river kind of dams they can create, but not storage dams. Now, they're just deciding to close up the whole subject. How can this be possible? Now, how they will be able to sell? How they will be considered as a normal state? In a world which is a rule-based world, nowhere in the world, World Court will not accept it. It's a contravention of the Geneva Convention. It's a contravention of the Vienna Convention. It's a contravention of the UN Article 3 or 4, or also the treaty Article 3 or 6. It's a total contravention. Duty cannot be put at advance. That's what the treaty calls for. It's a mutual agreement that treaty can be set aside. Nothing more, nothing less. So now they will have to pay a lot of penalties as a result. Then naturally.
So I wanted to ask you that because I did my foundation in international law, and I would think that Pakistan would be
That's
suing
it.
India or putting
no,
a...
but there's an arbitration, international arbitration, but this dispute will go. And if you are able to establish that each million acre of border that they obstruct costs us $500 to $600 million, and it can cause it's a war crime. With all due respect, it's a war crime. Basically, if it becomes a kind of a death for part of the population, it's a war crime. It's simple, and it's an act of war. And that will create border wars, and that will create two nuclear state nations. Why did this ceasefire happen? Because two nuclear tipped states at a distance of 100 kilometers cannot fight each other. Moody's have realized that. They have realized that. Their Air Force, see, look at one simple example, recent example. In June and May, compare it. 200 planes of Israelis came over Tehran, did what they wanted. One plane of India could not come over Lahore. Yes, you saw 5 or 6 drones that were shot down by pigeon
civilians.
Civilians. No, but why they could not do it? Why they could not? Let's be honest, they can crow about it. They've destroyed us. They've Nur Khan base. They were making these. It's all nonsense. They were saying exactly like nans have been done. Now Fardo will be treated like that. But Indians were not able to do. And they made this fake story about radiation levels in Pindi, and IAEA, International Atomic Energy Commission, had to deny it, that there's nothing like that. There's boron is being distributed in Rawalpindi and just fake stories after fake stories. Yesterday they made another. No, that's leave it. That's something. And then yesterday they came out with a story. Oh, Pakistan is about to. If they will nuke us, we'll nuke them. What this nonsense? Every lie you look at it, you scratch a surface. They have to stop it. They have to understand we are neighbors. We have to have peace. We have to have some kind of reconciliation. We have to sit down and talk, because without that, these two nations cannot exist. It will not be easy. Even if you obliterate Pakistan, annihilate Pakistan, we will have a problem of 240 million people at your northern border. All these radicals which are being stopped, where you say Mir Ali and all, these radicals will move to Wagah. Can you imagine? All this drop scene will happen in Bombay and Delhi. They don't seem to realize vacuum creates Desh. Vacuum.
That's how these groups were created.
And then we have become victim. So can you imagine how happy some terrorists will be sitting down there waiting for another terrorist in this end, so that there can be a nuclear clash between two. The vacuums are created. They go haywire. Can you imagine how foolish is that we have become hostage to few terrorists?
Uncle Iqbal, for me as a Pakistani, it's extremely scary because these terrorists live for this. They would have now said to every group, must have collaborated, कि यार, just attack India. Why are we attacking Pakistan? Attack India. India will attack Pakistan. Pakistan will attack India.
Can you imagine? That's exactly the logic. Can you imagine? They want to create a vacuum. So they want the entire Pakistani structure to fall down, because then they are all free from that northern region. That's what I always said. That's my thesis. But Pakistan is a buffer. India should really thank Pakistan since 1947 as a nation state. We assume that responsibility.
They say that you should thank us for taking out terror targets. Why are you saying that it's an aggressive? मैं सोच रहा था, I was like, यार, with Americans जब आते हैं जाते हैं जो भी हम करते हैं, I know for a fact that the drone program is in complete collaboration. Drone जो होता है वो एक surveillance device होती है. It cannot do anything without on-ground intelligence. And there is not a single American in Mir Ali Shawal Data Khel. They are Pakistani ISI guys, but there are no American guys giving on-ground intelligence. So all the intelligence for these targets are being provided by Pakistanis, right?
No, but the point
then
is
the Americans take them.
But the point is this, that I agree that you want to. Why can't you solve the basic issue? There is no issue between India and Pakistan. The whole issue of Kashmir, plebiscite and all. Now, why do we? Trump has made it open that 1,000-year-old dispute. Come on, resolve it. Sit down, do under Lahore Declaration. Don't give it to anyone. There is a Lahore Declaration formula. There is a second track diplomacy. Open the negotiations, find something. But denial of that whole existence of a problem is causing the problem.
You know, I would have thought, as an slightly educated, slightly normal, integrated human being who believes in society and, nations prosperity.
Rule of law.
That when I see the European Union, I always dreamt or wished that Kashmir, the entire area, would be that for Pakistan and India. And if that, a lot of people ask me, because Penguin is my publisher, so I've done a lot of interviews in India and stuff, and they always say, Pakistan this, and but they look down on us a little bit. And I always try to explain to them that if you were to work with us, right, if you worked with us to solve a problem, you would find us amazing. If we were to build ties of trade, of culture, of art, of poetry,
Absolutely.
then politics and military could not interfere those ties. It would be impossible. But I find that that's now a lost concept. It's not even something that I think the generation behind me, because hum log to is umar se nikal gaye, but the younger generation of Pakistan and India, I don't think they'll ever cross. One of my favorite experiences of traveling has been in India with my friends and my family. I remember when my mother and father took me to Delhi as a kid. I was firstly shocked by how similar we were, and how amazing Delhi was. When I went to Bombay, it was one of the most amazing times. I was 22, 23. It was one of the best holidays that I've ever had with my friends, and I was staying with Indian friends. But today I feel like that's miles. Now we're just too far away.
There is no need of that. Listen, there's a lot of friendliness possible. There's no need of all this commotion. There's no need of this hate. There's no need of this continuous fanning of vitriol. There's no need of looking down on, even if Pakistan is poor. There's no need of it. Pakistan is poor, but what I found in Lahore, coming back to the early part of the discussions we had, is a very, very vital country, very country full of life. I find it very interesting. Country full of poets. Every other person is a poet. Every other person talks in verses. Every other person has a beautiful something to say about Bulleh Shah and something to say about Amir Khusro. There's a literature just into their veins, running into the veins, in their DNA. It's a city of culture. And not only here, but if you see Kasur, the land of Bulleh Shah, it's a city of culture, city of deep gratitude. People are thankful. So I don't see any hate here. I don't see anyone telling me, oh, we are worried. They laugh at Indian drones. What they did. Just now we were in Bedia, and how far we were from the Indian border, 10 kilometers. Yeah. We are sitting on the border. Imagine Delhi was at the border. We are at the border of Indian artillery guns.
When I took you on my tower, I showed you
Indian strategists were thinking, the other day Amritsar, in the evening, and on top of the tower, in 19th floor, you can see Amritsar, simmering lights in the evening.
That's how close.
But leave the Amritsar. Amritsar is 30 kilometers away from BRB. We are talking about Bedia. Just there, I saw the village, Indian village across. So that's how we imagine if this our entire economy, GDP, 70% of it is along Indian border.
Yeah.
70%. How we should be a very depressed nation. We should have not even look at Lahore. I've never seen a city like this. 1 month, I tell you honestly, I have certain issues in my life that I would, much as I would be a proletariat, and I'm acting as a proletariat and moving around, but I want certain comforts, basic comfort. You call a taxi, you call a rickshaw, you call from one area to another area of Lahore. I take the public service. I have no car. I enjoy it. I call InDrive. They take me everywhere. Okay, I can afford it. But of course, I would have loved to be on a rickshaw. But rickshaw makes too much noise, and that's the only problem. And they don't allow where I'm staying in defense. Yes. They don't allow rickshaw, but I would have gone to. But just trying to feel, what I see is a city has got beautiful avenues, tree-lined avenues, nurseries all along. I have not seen something like this. I've not seen something. I was not expecting. This is not the city I was expecting. Honestly,
also it's a Khulli city. London and Paris are very
huge.
Yeah, it's very open.
It's not. There's no $2 billion houses, but what you get for $1 million house here is okay. Is what you will get $15 million in London. With all due respect, my friend, I was staying the first 3 days when I was. He bought this house for 55 crore, which is less than $2 million. His house is like a palace. It's like 15,000 square feet. What luxury is not there? Your own house is a beautiful house. All my friends' houses are beautiful. But I enjoyed them equally as I enjoy a small little hut where I went and slept in Baghanpura or Halbanspura or in a small Qayyumabad and people. I just wanted to have a feel of it. So as far as these things are concerned, Lahore is an extraordinary city. The whole idea that look at Gujarat, look at Gujranwala, look at Muridke. I went to my factory along Shekhupura. I looked around in all this Sargoda, Faisalabad. Go and have a look at Faisalabad. All of a sudden, these cities have come up. Very industrious people. Yeah. Look at the quality of these shirts. These shirts are made
all
by
Sialkot,
Pakistan.
Everything I'm wearing.
And this is only $12, and this is sold for $180 in America. All these pants, golfing pants. These are maybe $14 and sold in America for $180. That's made in Sialkot. The best footballs are made in Sialkot. So who tells them? Who tells them that this country is a creative country? Very creative country. Pakistan cannot provide 3 meals. The other day, some lady wrote, I said, give me a break. Pakistan will have enough lentils and enough rice and enough dal chawal and enough. They're even happy with some chilies and some onions and with the hot bread, with some yogurt.
They can live with it. I've seen that.
When you have eaten it for 4 or 5 years, when you're in captivity, humankind is, yardstick is, are you happy or no?
Yeah.
We are not following shadows. Here I see people are not following shadows much. They all want to be successful. They all want to be reaching the sky. They want to touch the stardust. But on the other hand, are we depressed? I don't find depression. Yeah. Are we hating someone? Are we sitting up and talking? No, my habit is today morning I got up and I see the social media and what I find is all hate. Just I select 2 of them and tell them, listen, all of this is lies. That's not a fact. And we have to grow up from there. We have to have a big magnanimity, big ideas that, listen, words mean a lot of things. Let's talk good. I have a lot of love for India. I have a lot of respect for India. I have a lot of respect for
Bahus are.
My Bahus are. But even not standing beside, I have a lot of 300 people work all over the world, Indians who work for me. I give them chances. I do everything possible that is good. For me, they are like my children. That's not, what I don't like is the hate that is starting with this Hindutva extremist message, and you have to counter it. That's about it. Like we countered OBL. Like we countered Al-Qaeda, Al-Daesh. I'm sorry, this is not a normal talk. If Al-Qaeda and Al-Daesh would try to destroy a dam and close the dam, it will be considered an act of terror. It is a hydrological terror. That's about it. Bottom line, India is walking a thin line. Indian people have to stand up, and the diaspora and the civic society have to stand up and say, okay, what is the level at which we will be considered by the world? Right. I think you are walking a thin line. You cannot. But
I saw Shashi Tharoor right now on a global tour. You would have thought that someone like him would counter this water matter as well, but they're very supportive of it. Even Barka Dutt
but Barka Dutt and Shashi Tharoor comes with an idea that Raj that stolen $25 trillion, and I said, give me a break, Shashi Tharoor. Which $25 trillion? You give me a break. In 100 years of Delhi between Mir Taqi to Ghalib, no one can answer it. It was Taraj Delhi. You lost your peacock. You lost your Kohinoor. It was all imported. Whatever architecture you have, Taj Mahal, the best architecture is fusion. Best language, the Bollywood language, Hindi that you call, it's all Urdu. Mir Khusro, and it's all fusion made India so beautiful. It's a fusion of the mix of the Turkish, Iranian, Arabic, Uzbek, and Afghan influence in Sanskrit. Created what? Jalaluddin Rumi and Biruni, Tarikhul Hind, is a hallmark. Go and read it. He discovered the circumference of the earth on Pin Dadar Khan when using Vedic knowledge. Al-Jabra al-Khwarizmi got his 01, the basis of AI today, algorithm, from Indian thinkers. We cannot deny the fact that they are extraordinary civilization. We are a product of that civilization. We cannot deny the fact. But this hate is not that product. Yeah. Modi does not represent that Hindustan. I am Hindustan also. I was born in the Indus. The name Hindustan emanates from my land. I lost my brand name. That was one of the biggest mistakes we did. We should have called ourselves Hindustan. They have called now Bharat. We should call, because Sindh is Hind. It's not Hindu.
नहीं, लोग समझते हैं हिंदुस्तान is
Hindu. No,
वो उनको
it's
समझ
Sindh.
नहीं है,
Yeah,
हिंदुस्तान is Sindh and Indus.
Indus. That's what it is. Emanates from it. We are Hindu in terms of Hindustan. The Sindh River. We are proud of that. Why should we know? Therefore, I don't let them take this territory that you belong. This land belongs to you. Also belongs to me. It's my land too.
Ji.
Don't own something. But this hate of yours is not Sanatana Dharma. Yeah. It's not what you say, the fake figure that you say. When he was mulling his teeth and gritting his teeth and saying, Abhi to maine, have not turned the tap and they are sweating. Look at it. Give me roti khao, ya goli khao. Who has told you to become Gabbar Singh? Now, this is the language which Desh al-Baghdadi used to speak. This is the language. Why we should not stop it? This is not Sanatana Dharma. This is not what Rig Veda said. This is not what Ramayana said. This is not what Lord Krishna said. This is message of love, what they said. This is not the knowledge that monasteries, the Arbibata and Asbibata, they created the knowledge that made the world what it is today. AI, I have great regard for them because 0 and 1, had it not been 0, the world would have been in darkness. Roman numbers could have not created the kind of economies and numbers that we have seen. Yeah. Roman numbers and Greek numbers were not good enough. And these Islamic numbers, Arabic numbers are actually coming down from these monasteries used to send things to the caliphs in Umayyad caliphs and Abbasid caliphs, the house of wisdoms. And they translated in Gandeshpur, and that's what the Banki learned it from them. The entire export, we exported the entire Indian, we were the exporters of the Indian great culture and civilization. We are the Indian civilization. How can we let them take the territory? I'm India. As a Pakistan, I'm minor India. I have no doubt about it. Minor Hindustan. Why we should be ashamed of saying that Modi is not the face that I would like India to be represented. I would like India to be represented by a face like Nazrul Islam, a face like Mohantin Karamchand Gandhi, face like great people have emerged from India who epitomize love, who epitomize togetherness. We cannot afford to write off entire Muslim population in the north as, okay, they are obliterate Pakistan. And then on the other hand, they come, oh, we'll make Balochistan free. They'll make Sindhu Desh free without giving them water, denying them water. You make them free. You take the term. So you punish Pakistan, break Pakistan. You want to make them subservient. You don't want people to ask you questions. You want people like Javed Akhtar who every day they speak about, because that's how they get validity within, because otherwise they continue to Gaddar. Owaisi, his grandfather was the greatest, and his whole party, which was apart with Khaksar against India. When Operation Polo took place, it was against his party, about Deccan. These Arif Ali Khan, these are the ones who created Hindustan, Pakistan. Pakistan was not created by us. Pakistan was created by UP, Bihar, votes from them in 1946. I told you the other day. So we should not let them own the entire narrative. This is our narrative too. We are sons of soils too.
So, Uncle Iqbal,
so subcontinent is our subcontinent too.
Yeah.
You know, every civilizational streak that has happened, it's our DNA part of too. You cannot take the DNA away from us. We should not call ourselves that, oh, this is not my DNA. Hindustan is my DNA. I own part of it. I want to be owning and reflecting the love, greatness of the past and create the love that is required. Finish the terror, condemn the terror, but we don't become hostage to the terrorists. And you said a beautiful point, I always say. You said, Iqbal, the terrorists out there must be having a great conference that, okay, if we want to really have a big day, then let's have a nuclear nations fight each other. They will be sitting and planning. And failure of Indian forces in Palagam, 550,000, why there was no security net? How these 4 people just could walk in? Why there was nobody there? How 26 innocent people were murdered and slaughtered? Why these Jawans in Palwana were sent in trucks without any proper cover? You make your own failures and then nobody is taken into account and then you start bombing us. For what? We have to settle a joint agreement that whereby these terrorist incidents should be fully protected in the sense that ring fence. You are already having a 550 on Eid day. Srinagar Eidgah was closed. Now tell me one thing. It's okay. It's a very secular country. Why do you have to close a Eidgah on Eid day? Imagine if Pakistan closed a temple in Tharparkar or Islam Court. I will be the first one to condemn Pakistan for it. I have always condemned Mithu, the Pir Mithu, when he takes the conversion of Hindu girls. I hate it. Hindus should be given equal right. I love it when they had Hawali and Diwalis in streets of Karachi. I love them. My neighbors are Hindus here. I see a lot of Hindus. Yesterday I was with a Hindu friend, of a Punjabi Hindu friend. They were sick. I met them recently. I went to Nankana Sahib.
This is our
Nankana
Sahib.
Nankana Sahib is beautiful. There are thousands of Sikhs there, and I enjoyed it. They feel it's their own nation. The point is, the whole idea attributing Pakistan as a disastrous, cultish, inward-looking, helpless, utopian, famine-struck nation is such a bad image that they portray. And one of the biggest problems is, what they suffered, why they could not enter Pakistan airspace, because they overestimated their strength. The basic law of war. They overestimated and underestimated Pakistan here big time. They had no idea. They used to call, we will destroy them. Go and read the media before 25th April to 1st May. They were saying, we'll pulverize Pakistan, we'll obliterate it. They were declaring themselves as the Prime Minister and Chief Ministers of Balochistan province and Sindhu Desh and KPK. They think fragmentation of Pakistan is so easy. Regime change will happen. They'll take somebody out of a jail. They'll make a new nation. That's foolish. The point is this: when you make your goals so loftier and then you don't achieve them, then the repercussion of that is all of a sudden they realize on 10th that, nothing happened. What happened? Nothing happened. They had to withdraw.
So, Uncle Ike, I wanted to ask you, Uncle Iqbal, I wanted to ask you, this narrative, right? बहुत हम देखते थे इंडिया का एक rising India, wherever you goes, the CEOs, this, that, Pakistan terrorists. I feel like that's switched now. I feel like, with Donald Trump coming out and supporting us, Putin, the Chinese, even I would say certain segments of the British government, although I find them slightly more annoying than the rest, everyone has come out and backed Pakistan in terms of, I think, this idea of everybody says we need to do more in terms of our intelligence to counter this. But मेरी जो इसमें theory है, क्योंकि मैं अफगानिस्तान में रहा हूँ and I've seen almost 100 countries की alliance trying to stabilize that country with zero success, trying to man the border with zero success. And then you've got Pakistan. You've got 120 on this side and 1 on this side. And we do a better job than all of them. I'm talking plainly in facts. But what do you think Pakistan needs to do as far as our narrative is concerned? In 2 things. One, I hate this terrorism label. Pakistan terrorism. I despise it. Maybe it's my personal experiences, but I come from a family of poets. My grandfather was a poet. My Khalu Dada Faiz Ahmed Faiz is possibly considered one of the greatest poets from the subcontinent. So he comes in, he breaks the glass ceiling of even partition and the division of our arts.
Absolutely.
My own father, I think, if his life hadn't been hard and he had a choice, I think he would have loved to have been a writer or a poet himself. And it's extraordinary because he was such a successful businessman and politician that not a lot of people know about that side of his. But when you see his personal art collection, his personal book collection, and jo log fortunate enough hain to have conversed with him, they know about his unbelievable poetry, and not just poetry but Shakespeare. And I loved when he used to quote Mark Antony and Macbeth, and I can't remember what the thing was, but he turned around and he said, an honorable man.
Nina's wedding, you remember?
Yes.
And that
and his favorite, जो अब मैं बच्चों को बताता हूँ, तो जब मैं बोल रहा होता हूँ कहीं, they look at me and they like, write this quote for us and sign करें. So I'm like, मेरा quote नहीं है, how can a man die better than facing fearful odds for the ashes of his father and the temple of his gods? So, Greek philosophy, Greek, above and I come from a family of this. This has been passed on to me, you know, since I was a kid. And I feel like ye kabhi baat nahi hoti. You know, a great man like Salman Taseer, in the entire world, कितने लोग हैं जो एक गरीब खातून के लिए अपनी जान दे देते हैं, and the narrative that you hear is उसके कातिल के ज़्यादा supporter हैं. Why is this even a conversation? What about the brave man who gave his life for an innocent woman? You understand what I'm saying? And how many countries have brave people like that? Very few, and you find it in conflicts today, and you see a lack of leadership and a lack of people willing to step out of their mold to help somebody else. So what can Pakistan do, to fix this part of its image? And I just saw that Bilawal led a convention right now. He took to counter Shashi Tharoor and the Indian narrative, but about this particular incident. And they were successful. I felt he was successful. Everybody else was, you know, they're okay. He's very good, but nobody else kind of matches that. And but the Indians were completely out of it. But I'm not only talking about image consulting, but, you know, as a young guy who's working in this country, when I started working, foreign investment was never a problem. You and Abba used to bring in money from all over the world, and people were jumping in. I remember South Africans, aap log late the, Americans, English, French, Middle Easterns. Your partners are all from all over the world. And they love Pakistan, but that stopped post 2007, 2008, and still we're suffering from it. We still haven't hit those, you know, numbers, and haven't managed to attract those investors. Even though, agar aap mere se puche, never has Pakistan been more prosperous, safer, and better to do business. Maybe it's me speaking because I do business here, but if you took me to Dubai, margins, profits, London, you know, I was just talking to you in the car about London, where you're literally buying a property as something on your portfolio. It'll go up, always goes up, but in terms of rental yield, there's nothing, right? But not in Pakistan. Pakistan, mein, you know, DHA, jahan aap abhi reh rahe hain, Raya mein, you're getting for, you know, a few $1,000s a month rent in your pocket after taxes and things. And unbelievable investment opportunities, unbelievable return, 10x, 100x, 1000x, insane projects that are happening. So what do you think we have to do? I guess more people like myself, younger people, what do we have to do for this country to fix and counter the narrative of terrorism? मैं तो समझता था extremism, but अब तो it's full blow, you know, it's terrorism. And how do we take the next step, which is, you know, this economy booming and becoming a global hub for investment in real estate, in the stock market, into health, into universities. This place is just sitting there. It's, you know, abhi ye mineral reserve ki jo deal hui hai, you realize the scale that Pakistan can operate on. And then, you know, you talk about the north. And if you go to the north, it's like as big as Germany or any, you know, I mean, it's a huge area, bigger than Switzerland and, you know, the northern areas of France or the ski slopes of Germany or any of these areas. And it's all untapped, all untouched, all unbanked, as I call it, just gold chests sitting over there for some country, some segment of investments to believe, invest, and, you know.
You know, this is a very important question. And, you know, the point is that Pakistan ke investment narrative जो है ना, image is very important. And image has been determined by the amount of press they get. Pakistan has got very bad press, you know. This is the first time, मेरी अपनी living history में जो मेरी छोटी सी जिंदगी है इस उम्र में मैंने जो देखा है, Pakistan has always got a bad press. This is the first time that Pakistani narrative has been welcomed. This is the first time that post Belgaum, I think one of the first time that Turkish and Chinese came so strongly, and Azerbaijan came so strongly and supported Pakistan. And had it not been for the Chinese support, I think we would have been pummeled by they have done a great job. And also, I think one of the reasons that they backed down was Chinese interest in Chinese had dedicated 2 satellites of theirs to this sector, and that helped them a lot to triangulate, and of course evokes the SAB that they had in the back, also the triangulation with that and integrated system, but also the data coming out of any plane taking off from any in India, and they would be notified within no time, so they were able to configure where they're coming, and they were able to lock in them. So that was a very, very major thing that's helped Pakistan ka ek kisam ka was able to, in my opinion, you don't have to argue too much. The very reason Israelis could come over Tehran, which is a royal country, rich country, and do what they had to do, but they could not come over Kahuta like that. And they destroyed lands, and they will destroy Fardo, but they will not be able to destroy that. Indians wanted the same script, wanted the same action. What you're seeing in June could have happened here in May. Pakistan, the only thing that helped was our ability to deter, and they were not able to enter. They say we won, or who won, I don't know.
We're very strange losers of this war.
No, but they have not. But the world does not see it, because the satellites in the world, and the Chinese are so upbeat about it.
The jet manufacturers in France.
Hindu, this GF Thunder's stock was at €58 on that day. It went up to 95, came down to 78. Now, since it has come down from 98 to 70, they keep harping about it. But profit taking takes place when it moves from 58 to 95. Then there must be some profit taking. But Daso share is all stagnant. It was at 331 on that day, went down to 298. Now it is 315, 316. But the fact is that very reason that has happened, that Pakistan was able to withstand. Pakistan was able to survive against a power which is 10 times bigger. People have been shocked. Like Chinese are total flabbergasted. So that is something new in the sense that Pakistan is not anymore considered as a paper tiger, not considered as a walkover. The whole image of Modi that has created in 151 or 152nd trip now he has done that. Oh, I'm the Nambardar and the purveyor of the entire South Asian region, and all these states are under my command and under my thumb. That has gone now. The parity that is accorded by Trump, that 2 nations, 2 fearless leaders, 2 courageous leaders, that irks them a lot. This is the first time in the annals of Pakistani Indo-Pakistan history. So the biggest thing that India gets irked too much is about parity that is accorded by Trump. They could not have imagined, this is the same. Revert back a little bit, rewind a little bit, and you'll remember that going back a little bit, you'll see it was all about India. In February, he has met Trump and everything was sealed. So all these Pakistani, Mushahid Hussain and others were saying that Trump will come, he has a soft heart, everything will turn, this regime will go, Pakistan regime will go.
For PTI.
Yes. So all this, we don't want to talk about politics, but here the Pakistani scene was that the biggest disservice was done by PTI people, that this whole thing is artificial. Once Trump comes, what they didn't realize was that Pakistan is the best anchor. They have saved. You said a beautiful thing in the morning, that what President Trump, and I have great respect for him now, that I was not with him, now I'm with him, in the sense what happened with Pakistan, totally supporting him, that he knows that it was costing them $4 trillion for maintaining Afghanistan peace. They have come out of it, and now they have become, Pakistan is brokering that peace, in the sense that Khorasani Taliban are being curtailed and they're beheaded and killed by who? By Pakistani armed forces. And as you said, and you told me, Mir Ali and Shawal and all this, that how they were bombarding and how they have killed and how they have taken the most hardened army. No one else can do it in those areas. These are the hardened criminals. And here we say, India has no idea, but Trump has the idea. Central Command of United States Army has an idea. They had no idea. They were always neutral. So Pakistan Army has been fighting. Pakistan Air Force has been fighting the USSR. They had down 27 planes. The vice president of USSR, once a POW, was a pilot. He was downed in his MiG. So that is the beauty, though, in the sense that Pakistan Army is a hardened army. It has contributed to the region. That was Trump. No one realized, even on our side, Mushahid Hussain and all these people who were talking about Pakistan being totally pulverized and will be changed, and once Trump comes in, totally things will change. That did not happen. That was a big surprise for the Pakistani strategy. All of a sudden, when this war started, they thought, oh, this is an occasion, but Trump and J.D. Vance has said, do what you want. They carte blanche. That was not do what you want. And once they started, then they think, I talked to the Pakistani leaders who are courageous, who are full of unwavering courage of Pakistan. And today, you can see that has changed the narrative.
I wanted to pick your brain about this, because I saw that Field Marshal Asim Munir got a fantastic reception.
No, today.
And Trump.
As we are speaking, in the next 10 hours, Asim Munir will have a lunch with Trump in cabinet in White House. Now, I don't remember Trump ever inviting. The other day, he was G7 2 days ago. Modi landed 48 hours ago. Let's be honest. They call the way it is. Modi landed, Trump left. Because he know what he's been talked about, Arnab Goswami and all. Because they hate the idea that, why are you according parity? We are a big nation. This is a poor nation. We are here. This is a hell. And that's what portraying. And then all of a sudden, no, you're two-parity nation. And then Central Command Journal comes and says, oh, it is an anchor against terror. Now, they are portraying Pakistan as the terror country of the world, as promoter of... now, all of a sudden, the whole idea has changed. Now, who will buy when America... Because Trump is considered as the new arbiter of the new order. You like it or you don't like it?
Don't like it.
It's a support he's recording has put Pakistan in a different league. And the opening of trade. So, that has changed completely Modi into a shell. It has put back Modi into a shell. His whole narrative has been killed. You like it or you don't like it. It's a very big shock for them. They don't even know. Jay Shankar doesn't even know how he has been hit, because they had no idea. And that how a nation can have such a great relationship with China and at the same time have a great relationship with Trump. Now look at it. Pakistan has been a part of CETO and CENTO when you were not even born, 54, 55. But Beer was where U-2s used to fly to over USSR. So Pakistan is a part of USA for a long, long time. Pakistan Army is very much into administration. I talked to the caucus head, the Democratic Party, the congressman, and in New York when I was there. So he told me that, listen, we deal with the government, not the government, we deal with the establishment of Pakistan Army and the Congress, and that's what they do. So from that day, CETO, CENTO, and after that, Kissinger disappeared in Rawalpindi and went to Murray and went to China to meet the Mao Zedong and Chun Lai. So who opened the door? So Pakistan, they know that they have saved $500 billion a year by coming out of Bagram. So you think Trump does not appreciate it? Then in that State of Union, that was not the first State of Union, but Trump had asked for a joint Congress address, and that first one, he said, he thanked only one nation in the world. He has named Pakistan more than any nation other than Ukraine in last 21 days. But that was the first time that he said...
he's also the first American president to say that I love Pakistan.
They're industrious people. No, they don't like it. The point is this, they have been sold an idea that Pakistan is a nation which is falling apart. Now, all of a sudden, his juppies are not working. Modi is like a huggy kind of person. He likes to show, because yesterday I saw go and read his tweet line. I love this guy, but the fact of the matter is going out to every leader and putting on his tweets. I do that with the pictures of poor people on the street with chanewala, chaiwala and all. That is my level of thinking. But he's going after every leader a picture and putting on a tweet. What do you want to show? You are a big leader. You're bigger than going to Cyprus and trying to show, watching the Green Line and watching it a disputed line with Turkey just to irk Erdogan. As a big leader, you should not do that, because at the end of the day, imagine if Dagan coming and watching line of control over to India.
No, which you probably will.
Okay.
Now.
Well, no. Imagine, on one hand, he thinks that Turks have done a injustice by conquering Cyprus. Good enough. Then India has done an injustice by administering Kashmir. So the point is, like in Durand Line, also they have the same strange behavior.
Yeah.
Durand Line is okay, but McMahon Line, no, it's not okay. Durand Line can move to attack, but McMahon Line should not move. That's what China tells them. Okay, if there's a colonial line, McMahon Line is also disputed, if Durand Line is disputed. And there in Durand Line, Afghanistan agreed. In McMahon Line, China did not agree. So these are a lot of issues. This hypocrisy, all of a sudden, he's been hit by something, a wall. Because his whole life, for 11, 12 years, was cornering Pakistan. And I tell you, it's a methodological, ideological battle also. Pakistan image was destroyed by this, that he is a terrorist sponsoring country, is a terrorist country. There was a focus agenda. Go and look at the social media that Indians portray, right or wrong, but they have focused on one thing. Pakistan needs to be cut to size. Pakistan needs to be obliterated. Pakistan needs to be, Akhand Bharat is a mythological construct from Mahabharata. For them, Godse, who killed Mahatma Gandhi, his ashes are there still, kept in Bombay with the party, that it will be strewn into river Indus, near Sadhubela, because that is what his last wishes are when Akhand Bharat will be made. So for them, it's a mythological construct. It's not about two nations. So all of a sudden, this has happened, that now they never had in wildest dreams the idea that today you talked about Asim invited. Tell me last time, I don't remember any NATO general would meet Trump. Yes, NATO, but his closest ally. But he is not Secretary General, not the general. The Secretary General of NATO will meet, and that also he will lecture that I'm going to leave you. You people have to up the game and put more money.
Lectures.
In Pakistan case, Pakistan has been helping America by killing those targets that can
no one can access.
No, and they can have a threat to the homeland security. That's what they are interested. Central Command is interested in. So they hold Pakistan on the eastern border of Iran. They think, whatever it is, I think Pakistan plays a role that is very important for America. And these Indian strategists had no idea about it. Neither Mushahid Hussain had any idea. Neither many of these PTI people had any idea what role Pakistan army is playing. And that is the kind
there are a few journalists. I feel like in times of such instability and delicate circumstances, you should stick by your country. You should cross the lines.
That's it. They got it all. They got it all wrong. They always saying that Pakistan will be punished and will be spanked on its bottom by Headmaster Trump. And that's not the case. And now this lunch is unbelievable amount of leverage that it will create. And you know who has helped it? Mohammed bin Salman.
Yeah.
A soon invitation is coming from Shahbaz Sharif, the Prime Minister. He was even being invited on Wednesday when he had invited the Assad, but the president, when he was in, Trump was in, I can tell you very, very confirmed sources from Saudi Arabia, but then there were too many people coming. But this invitation was arranged as a thank you note for what happened because for Trump, there was something to talk about, that I have killed a bigger terrorist, I've got a bigger terrorist than, because for him, he says, Obama's got Osama bin Laden, he got Baghdadi, he got another one. And for him, the Homeland Security means a lot. So this is, who is the anchor? Who is stopping? As you say, beautiful say, that he hates to spend money. It's not. So who knows? And then he also realizes that there's a bridge. He's having a confrontation with China on tariff and trade, that he says, oh, there's a bridge between China. Can you imagine? What Indian strategists cannot even think what has happened, what has hit them. Sindoor has hit them big time, in the sense that all of a sudden China, who was little reluctant because of previous 3 years' policies, CPEC was demoted, was frozen, and Pakistan was not very. Now all of a sudden they realize that their satellites are not telling wrong. Chinese will not buy anything nonsense from Pakistan. If Pakistan defenses would have pierced, you think they were all over our place. They would have destroyed us. Aerial supremacy was a step one for the Indian strategists.
Yeah.
And then after that, they would have just asked for
split your forces.
No, what they said was, once we'll destroy it, Asim Munir will be removed, and then we will have our own man coming out of somewhere, and they will put him on a truck, and all of a sudden there will be a new regime. BLA will be given a free. That is what you're asking for, surrender. You get my point? That was a very short span. Therefore, they were saying, when you read on 10th May, look at the Indian media, ZTV. What are they saying? What is Major Goria saying? He's saying new history is written, a new history being made, a new geography is being made.
Achha, we look at him and Arnab, Goswami and all as actually stand-up comedians. Like,
no, but you look whatever it is. But for them, this is their bread and butter.
Follows
but surrender, Pakistan is gone. So all this, can you imagine a shocker that you are talking all this, and Trump comes out and says that I have brokered a ceasefire between two great nations, two people of valor, two honest people, two self-respecting nations. Now, all this is not what Modi was trying to portray for one. Can you imagine the shock he has got? Can you imagine this? Shashi Tharoor is a guy, he's a flinderer. You know, he makes beautiful words, but what can he say? He's from Congress. He goes and takes El Panama and Colombia. They should be, you know where? Now, the way they have deserted Iran. The other day, 5 years ago, Modi was with Hassan Rouhani, with Ghani, making Chabahar as alternate to Gwadar. All of a sudden, they ditched them. They wanted an entire system to be totally destroyed and make a new confrontation. They can't even, at the moment, they can't even analyze it. That how is it possible that we didn't have the photo opportunity with Trump, even G7, and here he's having a lunch. The most detested man. The most detested man. They are single focused towards him. And they get a full support from the disgruntled political scene in Pakistan. Then they thought that once he's gone, the way is open for a weaker government to take over. And weaker government means BLA, give it a full support, and Sindhu. What was this all about? So that is a big. So Pakistan, in terms of, it's a beautiful place to be in the sense of that. So people have started reflecting Turkish, Chinese. I think there will be a lot of investment from Chinese into Pakistan. The Chinese are opening J-35s. Can you imagine the amount of money they are pouring into defense sector of Pakistan without on credit?
Uncle Iqbal, Chinese की सबसे बड़ी जो जंग है वो है उनकी products as compared to Western products.
And India was coming as a quad, as a member to. They were being promoting to Mr. Modi as the alternate. Now all of a sudden, Emperor has no clothes. Is naked.
I love it. The naked king.
Naked king. All of a sudden, they cannot meet.
And he was guided like the naked king.
And China, Pakistan has become a herald of China. Their technology was not tested. All of a sudden, the technology is tested.
And now, successfully.
So what happened? They have given G-35s to them. 2 of them are already with Pakistan in case of any crisis. And anti-BrahMos missiles are coming. And all these latest, they are not sending them export version. They are sending the local version with the full speed and the full lock-in mechanism. So that will cause India a huge amount of worry, because now they have to go back to drawing board and start looking at $120 billion of defense budget in next 3 years.
But I wish when they went to that drawing board, they would realize that defense expenditure is defense expenditure. मेरी बड़ी funny argument होती थी PTI वालों से जब मैं उनको defense expenditure बताता था तो वो कहते थे फौज, they were very pro फौज. I always say you should have a ground कि अगर आप मिलिट्री के सामने भी खड़े हैं, ये फैक्ट्स हैं. अगर आप you should never be on one end and then be humiliated.
No, but Pakistan,
to go to the other.
Let's be honest, the fact is very simple. Pakistan defense expenditure is only $8 to $9 billion.
Yeah. And if it wasn't there,
it's less than New York Police Department, $12 billion.
Yeah. Harvard, it's less than Harvard.
Here you're telling me that Iqbal, they are taking care of Mir Ali, Shawal, all these areas.
And then this area.
The 2,500 worst border in the world, the eastern border. I think that's too much to ask. We can very rubbish poopa the army. This is a volatile region. It's not something easy. This is one of the most volatile region in the world.
So guys, on that note, I have to say that.
So Pakistan will have investments. I think the new era which is coming, Pakistan will become a stable country in next 4 years. If this meeting goes on well, if things become well, and Pakistan, recent like Bilawal and all, but people are taking a different view, in my personal opinion. Strategic stability was very important. India has lost ground on that strategic instability. They were creating a narrative around Pakistan as a failed state, as a poor state.
And there was something
going
else
nowhere.
that you said.
Now,
Peace.
now
You
and
said
now
Pakistan.
even it is first time the Saudis are taking note of Pakistan. My bosses, first time in 42 years, first time, when I went this time to Kuwait, they said, Pakistan Zindabad, swear upon God. And I sent it to you. I remember. I sent 42 years.
Yeah.
First time after, whatever you say, people are very proud what Pakistan did because they feel that they have been under. But that's the fact. So I think your point, let's wrap it up, that yes, I think we have a new environment. That narrative that Pakistan is a failed, poor, beggar state is gone, dead, in my opinion. It has Sindoor has been the biggest self-goal that Modi has done. And I think, I read my articles, this is the line I'm taking. And I'm not an emotional person. I can see when a mistake has been made. Yeah. This has been a horrible mistake. It has put Pakistan into completely, China into Pakistan laps, not the other way around.
Yeah, not the other way
because
around.
China, I've told you that, from K2 to Gwadar, no way China has told them, and Professor always talks about the Chinese professor, that they will not allow, this is a 3.25 hour journey, this northern area. Aerial flights are not allowed at India. They are going 2 hours extra and they have to refuel 4 hours journey. This corridor, China will never allow. Urumqi is the main scene now in China. Urumqi, Kashmir. This is Uyghurs, well, that restive sort of, they know that Pakistan, their Western theater is their tail. They are two ocean. China won 2 oceans, South China Sea and Arabian Sea. Gwadar provides them. They will not allow anyone, Modi, to destroy the territorial integrity. That is a harsh dream he has waken up to.
Yeah.
That's a fact. And therefore, I believe that Pakistan, this destructive narrative about beggar state, farrier state, they cannot have 3 times of food. All this is just self-reflecting of their own insecurities. But I feel that we are on the verge of hopefully a better future. I'm very positive.
So guys, on that note, I'm going to wrap this up. It was an unbelievable opportunity and pleasure to have my uncle here with me. I love him. He's been a source of knowledge for me my whole life. And I know this is the first time I've done it. Hopefully, I might do it again. But only if there's a person or a personality like this. And मैं हमेशा ये चाहता था कि आप लोग ये एक्सपीरियंस करें, इसको देखें. आई नो ये ज़्यादा कॉन्वर्सेशन इंग्लिश में था, बट आई वांटेड अंकल इकबाल टू बी कंफर्टेबल एंड इन हिज फ्लो. बट वी विल.
आप सबका भी शुक्रिया.
और हमने अभी 2-3 और एपिसोड्स भी करनी है. आई वांट हिम टू स्पीक अबाउट द कॉस्मोस. आपको रियलाइज हो इनकी फिजिक्स की जो नॉलेज है, मोर अबाउट इन्वेस्टिंग इन पाकिस्तान.
वन थिंग इज बी अ लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्नर. Be a student in life. We are nobody. We are student in life. We are lifelong learners. We can make mistakes. And the point is very simple. Learn everything in life. Question your books, what you read. Thank you very much.
Thank you.